I have a city in the desert. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 801 Pre-War Declaration. A letter to all compatriots. From now on, the Sahara region will enter a state of war. I don't ask everyone to die with me, but I ask everyone with blood to stand up and grow my Sahara ambition. Let the United States and its running dogs know that Sahara cannot be bullied. In addition, the purpose of my death battle is to keep you alive, so those who want to go to China to seek refuge can leave on their own. From now on, all the old, weak, sick, disabled and young in Kari City will evacuate to future West City, and all the people in Malacca City will fight with me to the death. P.S. This message is copied to Future City, Sac City, Salmon City, Malacca City, and Kari City. After the live broadcast, Jiang Chen directly issued a letter to all the people. After the declaration was issued, Jiang Chen knew that Sahara's tourism industry was completely ruined. However, as long as he wins this battle, he will definitely make the United States and its running dogs return the money double. At noon, Jiang Chen's letter to all compatriots was spread like a carpet in the Sahara region in China in the form of text messages and the internet. Jiang Chen thought that many people would leave, but what he never expected was that until the evening, less than 1,000th of the people left Sahara. Even the 1,000th of the people who arrived in the special zone were blocked by the people of the special zone and turned back. At this moment, the special zone was full of people holding slogans and marching, and the station was full of banners. Go back. Fight side by side with your motherland. Victory will eventually belong to you, and evil will be defeated. Special zone youth will voluntarily join the transportation team, even if they don't eat or drink. They must ensure that Sahara's transportation supply line is unobstructed. Corresponding to the slogans of the donation stands, set up everywhere in the streets and alleys. Almost every tourist who comes to the special zone will donate a lot of money, and all this money will be used to buy war supplies to help Sahara. Because the people of the special zone know that if Sahara is finished, it means that they are finished, and even the whole of China is finished. Therefore, those who came when he was rich and left when he was in trouble returned with guilt and self-blame. Back in Sahara, the whole city was full of marching people. Their shouts shocked the whole earth. Fight to the death. Fight to the death. We are not afraid of death. If the United States dares to come, we will kill all the Sahara people and not let them live. I don't ask for life. I just ask for the guns to kill all the American devils. If the leader doesn't live, how can the Sahara people refuse to die? I just ask for a fight. In addition to the Sahara region, the people of Malacca City also walked out of their homes at this moment. Their good days have just started for less than 2 years, and the United States is forcing them again. If they don't die, the United States will never let them go. I came from the south and lost my home. You killed all my family members and the shells killed my children. I still have one leg left and found a home in the north. You said, no, you can't live. Today, I will walk back with this leg. I know that the north of the north will never be my home. Today, the shells can't kill me, so I will walk back with this one limb. If the bombs kill me, one day the leader will liberate us, and I know that my relatives in the south will take me back. At Malacca University, a stubborn old man wrote this suicide letter, pushed away the students who blocked him, and set foot on a road to the desert with his bag on his back. Many young people followed him. They didn't carry guns, because there were no guns in the books. The books only had the beautiful world that the leader gave them. But if they had lost their homes, what was the point of this world? If they couldn't live, they would rather die. 10 days later, when Malacca University found the professor again, he had led the students from the south to the outskirts of Herent. Their bodies were hung on poplar trees, and the books in their backpacks were scattered all over the ground. The Malacca University emblem, which symbolized freedom, was stained with blood. Every student protected the school emblem until his death. Jiang Chen's eyes moistened when he saw the photos sent by the frontline small column. The pride of the literati made Jiang Chen cry loudly. He was proud of having such a teacher and such a student. When the team transported the bodies of the professor and students back to Malacca City, millions of citizens in Malacca City took to the streets under the scorching sun. They carried the professor's coffin all the way to the Malacca Cathedral. They placed more than a dozen coffins in front of God, hoping that God would take them to heaven. Outside the gate, young Malacca University students held up a sign, "The North is not my homeland. I will use this one limb to walk back to the South." Faith and young people, these are the most terrible things in this world. Once people have anger, once they have the faith to fight to the death, even the mountains of swords and seas of fire are nothing but mud balls and ravines in their eyes. So, the moment they welcomed Professor Metz's body, all the young people rushed to the battlefield. In less than 5 days, 100,000 young people gathered in the Malacca Freedom Army camp. These young people include Akarists, Chinese, Salmons, and Turks. But at this moment they have a common title: Sahara people. 100,000 young people, 100,000 soldiers, 1 inch of land, and 1 inch of blood. Jiang Chen will use them to block the evil overlord, the United States, from the gate. They will eventually let Professor Metz return to their parents when the United States withdraws from the Akarists. In summer, when the desert is the hottest, the date of the United States' final ultimatum to Jiang Chen has arrived. Jiang Chen chose to fight to the bitter end, and the United States issued a military sanctions letter. In midsummer, the coalition led by 13 United States countries, including the United States, Cold Tide, Eagle, Australia, Turkey, France, Canada, Britain, Belgium, Luxembourg, and MacArthur, completed the assembly plan. The countries are preparing to gather 1,000 troops to wipe out Jiang Chen's armed forces entrenched in the post-desert Turkestan-joined region. The 1,000 troops are commanded by Major General Wilson of the United States, promoted to Lieutenant General. They will assemble in the Akhanate at the end of August. The combat plan is expected to last for 3 months and end the war in mid-autumn. Just as the coalition issued a statement to the outside world, Jiang Chen also posted photos of Metz's death and photos of Metz at Malacca University before his death on the internet. Metz's death symbolizes the death of Akhanate academics and the humiliation of the Akhanate's colonial era. Therefore, this incident has caused strong indignation internationally. China and other countries have strongly condemned the injustice of the invasion of the United States and other allies. After watching the documentary about Metz's death, many Chinese people shed tears. Akharin Metz, he is much like the Chinese literati in difficult times, so dignified and fearless of death. Therefore, more Chinese people donated money and materials to support the war. At the end of August, when General Wilson arrived in Calab, Jiang Chen started his last live broadcast. This live broadcast is still for the world, and all media willing to access the Saharan region have obtained access authorization. These media include many American websites and core media in countries such as Eagle Country. Hello everyone, I'm Jiang Chen, and this will be my last live broadcast before the war. Chapter 802, I will not bow down to the powerful. This time, Jiang Chen did not choose to face the air. He chose to open Sahara Live. He liked Sahara Live, liked the audience he was familiar with. Panda, anchor, stand up. Don't be afraid. We are behind you. Old comrade, anchor, why don't you admit defeat? You can indeed develop the economy, but when it comes to fighting, you are really no match for the powerful United States. Looking for him thousands of times. Yes. Admit defeat. As long as you admit defeat and come back, you will still be our favorite anchor. Just like you said before, living is more important than anything else. We don't want to lose you. Seeing everyone's messages, Jiang Chen smiled, and smiled happily. He knew that these people were the ones who really cared about him. I'm sorry, I'll let you down. I can't abandon you and live alone. In the face of power, I can't bend down. If I bend down, I will not be the Jiang Chen in your mind. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, many fragile hearts in front of the screen couldn't help crying, as if Jiang Chen was about to die in front of them. Little dragon, come on, anchor, I believe you can hold on. The 8 power allied forces also invaded us. We suffered humiliation. I hope you won't suffer the same humiliation as us. Big head baby, can I join your army? I'm worthless. Give me a gun. I didn't kill them 100 years ago. Now I have a chance. I want to fight for my ancestors. Liu Sing, give me a chance. to join the army and immigrate. I'm willing to fight to wash away the shame of my ancestors. Fish in the Pacific. I'm willing to fight. They have 1,000 people. There are tens of thousands of passionate young people in China. I hope that the bodies will pile up like a mountain to let them know how powerful the yellow race is. A group of people talked about immigration. Jiang Chen thought about it and shook his head again. No, you are still young. You are the hope of the country. If I resist the invasion of the United States, I will let you immigrate to the future West City. I have already built the future West City. It is a city purely dedicated to young people. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, someone in his live broadcast room soon started to spray. Cold Wave Entertainment New World. Haha, it is about to be raised by the world together, but you still don't forget to trick everyone into immigration. James Secret News. Surrender. The technology of aliens is unusable. Cutting off contact with aliens as soon as possible is what you should do most. When it comes to aliens, Jiang Chen smiled. Are there really aliens in this world? Anyway, he has never seen one. Don't say it. What is coming will eventually come. I still say that you are strong, and I'm weak now, and you bully me. One day, when I'm strong, and you are weak, it will be the day of your destruction. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he closed the live broadcast room. 2 days later, in a bunker under the desert at the Malacca military base, Jiang Chen convened a meeting of senior generals of the Malacca Freedom Army. The generals who attended the meeting this time were at least the commanders of various departments. Brother Jiang, now that they have just arrived, let's attack them directly, and we will definitely win a great victory. After a 40-year-old Ahan leader finished speaking, Jiang Chen shook his head. An open man does not do shady things. I said that I will not take the initiative to provoke a war. When they start first, we will have a reason to liberate the entire Ahan kingdom. Brother Jiang, are you sure they can only attack from the south? After a commander of the Freedom Army finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded. To the west is the Sahara Desert. They can't attack from there. Even if they do, we are not afraid. I have stationed 2,000 people outside the future West City. To the north is the Rosa country. They dare not cause trouble in front of the Rosa country. The only thing I worry about is that the Rosa country will take the opportunity to attack me from behind. Therefore, I have also stationed nearly 3,000 people in the north of Salmon City. To the east is China, which will not let the coalition forces in, so our battlefield can only be in the south. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Luolai, the new commander of the Free Army, nodded and said, yes, they can only attack from the south. Brother Jiang, I'm a little worried now. Most of our soldiers are new recruits. In the battle, we are definitely not the opponent of the US coalition forces. Luolai is a veteran on the battlefield. He is one of the earliest generals of the Sahara Corps. He has been serving in the Sahara Corps in the north. This time, because they are going to have a decisive battle with the coalition forces, the commander-in-chief of the Sahara Corps sent Luolai, the commander of the Sahara First Army, to serve as the commander-in-chief. Luolai finished speaking worriedly. Jiang Chen nodded and said, yes, so we won't take the initiative to attack. We can delay it for a day, and we can train for a day more. Brother Jiang, Meguan proposed to hire a group of mercenaries from the Rosa country to fight. Have you decided? After the chief of staff of the Free Army finished speaking, Jiang Chen paced and hesitated. To be honest, Jiang Chen was unwilling to spend so much money to hire mercenaries to fight. After all, he had his own troops. But now his main force must be stationed in Sahara City to guard against the Rosa country in the north. After all, it is also a particularly warlike country. Therefore, the battlefield in the south can only be handed over to the Free Army. But the Free Army is not an army that he can trust. Now the Free Army claims to have 100,000 troops, but Jiang Chen knows that they can only fight with tens of thousands of people. Most of these tens of thousands of people are fledglings who have never participated in wars. It's okay for them to face the desert bandits directly, but if they face the elite of the United States, they can only die. Brother Jiang, let's make a decision. It will take time for us to build our defensive offensive. I think we can let the mercenaries take over first. We don't have to rely on mercenaries. The US coalition forces only have 1,000 people. We have at least 5,000 elite soldiers in Kari City. Why don't we transfer the troops from Kari City? A military commander stood up and said. Jiang Chen shook his head. The troops in Kari City cannot move. They must guard the Kari City defense line. Once the Kari City defense line is lost, the Luoxia Kingdom and the US coalition forces will go directly from the subway to the future city. By then, we will really be finished. After Luolai finished speaking, Jiang Chen finally made up his mind. Hire mercenaries. Call Guanku and ask him to invite 1,000 mercenaries to gather in the small town of Cass in the south of Malacca. Yes. The engineer corps. Within 10 days, you must build 10 fortifications in the southwest of Malacca. Yes. Commander Luo, I'll give you at most 20 days. 10,000 free army soldiers must go to the war. In addition, 50,000 reserve soldiers must seize the time to start training. If necessary, they will all go to the battlefield. Yes, sir. After the meeting, Luolai, who was in his 50s, saluted. After the meeting, Jiang Chen drove to plan his defense line. According to Jiang Chen's budget, this time the US coalition forces will join the Akhenate army to go north. They will go north through Caroline City and then go north along the valley to the mining town. Therefore, Jiang Chen plans to build a few bunkers in the Budo Canyon and place some mines in the desert. Jiang Chen will set up his first line of defense near the mining town. In the middle of Malacca City and the mining town, Jiang Chen will build the second line of defense. Chapter 803, Case Blocking Battle. Case Blocking Battle. If the enemy can cross the two lines of defense, then they can only fight street battles in Malacca City. Speaking of street battles, Malacca City with tall buildings is definitely the main battlefield for the Free Army and the militia. Start planting. In the Budo Canyon, Jiang Chen planted a row of houses in the middle of the canyon. Jiang Chen also planted hundreds of houses on the hillside of the canyon. On the top of the canyon, Jiang Chen also built hundreds of houses. After these houses were transformed into bunkers, even bombs can't blow them up. After arranging the Budo Canyon, Jiang Chen planted a row of big locust trees at the exit of the canyon. After the big locust trees were planted, Jiang Chen felled the big locust trees and transformed them into a fortress defense line. When Jiang Chen used the farming system in his hand to build hundreds of military fortresses and 2 or 3 military airports in a row, the US coalition finally launched an attack on Malacca. In early autumn, the desert did not become cooler because of the arrival of autumn. Instead, the residual power of the autumn tiger pulled the desert temperature to more than 50 degrees. The US Army did not dare to attack during the day, so they set out from Caroline City in the evening. The first mixed army of the coalition forces, a total of 1,200 people, headed towards the town of Cass under the cover of aircraft. In the evening, the sky was full of sunset glow, and suddenly there was a loud bang, and a firebomb flew down from the sky. A house in the town of Cass turned into a fireball in an instant. The desert weather was dry, so once the fire started, it instantly ignited the entire town. Emergency news. This is Cass Town, Malacca City. At this moment, at 5:20 in Malacca time, the evil US coalition forces launched an attack on Cass Town. This is the news from Shangjing, China. Now we bring you the first-hand news from the battlefield in Cass Town. The US coalition forces dispatched more than 12 planes to bomb Cass Town. They dropped incendiary bombs and burned all the houses in Cass Town. The unarmed residents of Cass Town died heavily in this airstrike. Now please read the first-hand news sent by reporters. The camera turned, and a large fire was burning everywhere in an empty desert area. The planes in the sky were still roaring and flying, and the ground was full of people running around. A 30-year-old girl cried on the street with a brand new doll in her hand. A bomb fell, and instantly blew her parents behind her into pieces of meat. The little girl was scared, and the reporter hurriedly ran to pull her, but a shell fell down. With a bang, the burnt doll in the little girl's hand fell in front of the reporter. No. The reporter knelt on the ground and cried bitterly on the spot. She was still a child. War correspondents from various countries entered the town of Case, and the news of civilians being killed in the bombing soon filled the world. In the center of the Malacca City News Hall, dozens of reporters blocked the door. I'm a reporter from Shangjing News. Can you talk about the bombing of Case that just happened? I'm a reporter from Rosa Evening News. The entire town of Case turned into a sea of fire during this air raid. At least thousands of people were killed. How do you plan to fight back? I'm from the American Morning News. Should you be held responsible for this incident? If you hadn't opposed justice, their lives. Jiang Chen grabbed the reporter's collar. He was very strong, and even the tall foreigner was like a chicken in his hands. Say it to me again. Fucking? Your country traveled thousands of miles to kill my people for no reason. Why don't they take responsibility for this? You always say it's for justice. Is your justice to massacre such an unarmed girl? Damn American dogs, you succeeded in angering me. Just wait. The people you slaughtered in Case Town today, I will make your homeland pay 10,000 times the price. Jiang Chen said, and threw the American reporter to the ground with a thud. Leader, why don't you take the initiative? I said, I won't take the initiative, because we will never provoke a war. But we won't be cowards. America, you are already in a war of death, and the war here will never stop. Jiang Chen dispersed the reporters and walked towards the hall. A dozen officers in the hall were already furious. Brother Jiang, give the order. Let me take my troops to Case. Brother Jiang, I request to lead my flight brigade to take off. Brother Jiang, be quiet, let the mercenaries wait for the attack, and the others strictly guard their positions. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and the mercenary group that received the order began to move out. At this moment, they were hiding in the underground military base hollowed out in the town of Case. So, when the bombing was over, the first batch of the US mixed formation of nearly 300 people headed towards the town under the cover of tanks. As night fell, rumbling explosions continued to sound in the town, and the only remaining houses that might have hidden people were pushed down by tanks. Oh, is this the guy called the Desert God of War? He fights like a piece of shit. If it were me, I would never give up the town of Case. Green, don't talk about that guy, okay? If it weren't for him, we wouldn't come to this damn place. I haven't taken a shower for more than 10 days. It's really uncomfortable. The two soldiers in the tank complained while bombing the buildings in the town. Behind the tanks is the Akhenaten army. The Akhenaten soldiers are much inferior to the tall American soldiers. They are very thin and most of them are malnourished. Of course, what makes them feel even more unbearable is thirst. Since the Akhenaten joined the coalition, Malacca City has cut off the Akhenat's drinking water resources, which means that their water must be purchased from Southeast Asia, which is farther away. Southeast Asia is a long way from the Akhenaten, and it is very difficult to transport tons of water. Therefore, only the rich or the noble can drink water, and these lower class people are very miserable. The damn American devils have dragged us into this again. When there is no war, we have water to drink. When there is a war, I can only drink a small sip of water a day. Be content. I'm afraid my father can't hold on any longer. If we don't quickly capture Malacca, we will never have water to drink. Even if we capture Malacca, there will be no water to drink. The water in Malacca belongs to the Sahara base. We will die of thirst by then. What are you talking about? Move forward quickly. If we don't occupy Case before dark, you will be in trouble. A commander of the Frost-Tide country said in the distance. Then he opened his canteen and drank it. A dozen soldiers swallowed their saliva, but they got nothing. Da da da. The sound of machine guns came from the alley, and a bullet hit the canteen of the commander of the Frost-Tide country with a whiz, and the canteen was blown away with a bang. A dozen soldiers rushed over to grab the water regardless of the roar of the commander of the Frost-Tide country. Get out, line up, line up. The commander of the Frost-Tide country shouted angrily, and bang, a bullet pierced his heart. No one cares about the commander of the Frost-Tide kingdom, because this is the Akhenaten, not the Frost-Tide kingdom. Chapter 804 I remember your sons. Defense. There are enemies. The commander of the town of Case was Warrant Officer Bell of the Great Eagle country. After Bell shouted, his messenger hurriedly ran around to pass on the message. Looking at the messenger's back running around, Bell couldn't help but yelling, "Oh, this damn desert. There is no communication information at all. My god, you see I'm fighting a war." After Bell finished speaking, more than 10 minutes passed, and his messenger still didn't come back. Bell knew that the messenger must be dead. So Bell grabbed a sergeant who ran over and shouted, "Stop, from now on, you are my messenger, follow me, and attack with all your forces." Bell knew that the town of Case must be occupied today, and the 1st Brigade commanded by Old La would arrive here tomorrow. In the center of Case town, a tank was hit by an anti-tank rocket launcher. As soon as it passed, a fire broke out on the tank, and the Turkish soldier in the tank pushed open the cover and got out. As soon as he got out, a volley of bullets flew over, and he fell off the tank. Call for support. Call for support. After the Turkish soldier in the tank shouted, the quiet ghosts in the tank were scared. Oh my god, we can't even get a radio signal here, damn it. The Turkish soldier shouted and tried to get out, but a group of mercenaries rushed out of the alley. The mercenaries threw a grenade and blew the Turkish dog in the tank into a meat paste. The mercenaries began to charge. When the enemy had not entered the town, they were afraid of the planes in the sky, but now it was different. The United Army entered the town, and they dared not bomb the planes, even if they had 10 courage. Charge. Boys, remember to kill foreigners. A foreigner costs 1,000 meters, and you won't give a penny to kill Ahan people, a burly man said, and he rushed out of the alley with a submachine gun. Soon a large number of soldiers rushed out of the alleys. These soldiers were strong, well armed, and each of them carried a pot of water and beef jerky. Their treatment was heaven level. Puff. In the ruins of the south of the town, a cold wave soldier stabbed a bayonet into the chest of a little boy from Cass Town who was stubborn and unwilling to kneel. The little boy did not bend his knees until his death. Kill these stupid dogs, they only know how to waste the earth's resources when they are alive. Don't spare any of them. After the squad leader Hidajan finished speaking, the dozen or so Ahan soldiers behind him were all angry. These were all their compatriots, and at this moment they looked like traitors who helped the tyrants to commit atrocities. Why are you standing there coldly? Kill them all quickly. The squad leader raised his pistol. The narrow alley was filled with terrified children, and the dozen or so Ahan soldiers blocking the entrance of the alley finally raised their guns. Da-da-da. Gunshots rang out, and the dozen or so children in the alley all fell to the ground. Blood flowed out of the alley and gathered into a small river. After the mercenaries killed the south of the town, Captain Zhao commanded the soldiers to charge, and more than a dozen people were all reimbursed before they rushed to the mercenaries' bunkers. In the night, the sound of grenades exploding came from time to time throughout the town, and this mutual shooting continued until dawn. After daybreak, more than 300 coalition forces were repelled by the mercenaries. The war correspondents emerged from the underground bunker. When they saw the children falling in the alley in the south of the town, several female reporters burst into tears. At noon, the reporters took the express train back to Malacca City. They posted the reports they had compiled on major websites. In particular, the news that the coalition forces brutally killed a whole alley of children set off the entire network. Southeast News. It is simply unscrupulous. Killing unarmed children. What kind of righteous army is this? Europa Morning Post. Oh my god, this is simply hell. I can't believe that my country is actually involved in such a war. Voice of Peace. Strongly call on the United States to end this war. This kind of inhumane massacre should not be done by an international organization like the United States. After the major news reports came out, an hour later, the United States issued a statement on Facebook. I'm sorry about the death of the children in Case. I just want to tell you that Case is a town where everyone is a soldier. If we don't take action against them, they will raise their hands to resist justice. In Malacca City, Jiang Chen clenched his fists and tightened his teeth. Leader, do you have anything to say about the fall of Case? What do you think about the killing of children? A group of reporters asked, and now there was a moment of confusion. Case has not fallen. I want to ask, an army that kills even children, is such an army a righteous army? They can kill my children, and when I become strong, I will kill them in the United States. I will not let any child go. I will let them die. I will let them die completely. After Jiang Chen roared, the reporter quickly posted the news on Facebook. Not long after, President Bugop of the United States responded to Jiang Chen's curse. Mr. President, what do you think of the Sahara leaders' plan to kill all the children in the United States? They can't do it. They are just a group of rats in the desert. Rats can never swim across the ocean to the United States. We are like eagles. We will fly into the desert and catch all the rats. So please support our action this time. I promise you that you will be absolutely safe. The war is still going on. Jiang Chen still did not choose to send troops to Case Town immediately. He was waiting for the anger. When the anger could burn the entire desert, it would be time for him to counterattack. In the evening, the heat of the day finally dissipated. After the last batch of supply trucks returned from Case Town, the war started again in Case Town. This time, the United States dispatched more than 20 bombers to bomb Case Town for more than an hour. The United States dropped nearly 1,000 bombs on Case Town, which is less than 20 square kilometers in area, and the bombs razed the entire Case Town to the ground. As night fell, more than 3,400 people from Lao Lal's 1st Brigade rushed to Case Town. Led by tanks and armored vehicles, the bunkers in Case Town were taken out one by one, and the war correspondents hidden in the bunkers were found by Lao Lal. Lao Lal wanted to shoot all the war correspondents. The war correspondents showed their credentials, but Lao Lal executed them all on the grounds that they were all Sahara's spies. On the way to send more than 40 war correspondents to the execution ground, more than 20 Akhanid soldiers whose families were killed by Hardajan rebelled. They rescued 3 global news reporters and then urgently sent them to the Budo Valley. In the dark desert, when the reporters were escorted to the camp of the 7th Squad of the 5th Regiment of the Free Army in the Budo Valley, more than 20 soldiers were dead and only 7 were left. Only one of the 3 reporters was left. The soldiers of the 7th Squad hurriedly carried the exhausted Akhanid soldiers and the global news reporters to the checkpoint. Water. Give me water please. Give me water. As soon as the soldiers of the 7th Squad put the Akhanid soldiers on the ground, the cracked lips of several soldiers seemed to be on fire. Quick, give them water. Several soldiers untied the kettles and began to fill them with water. After half a kettle of water was filled, the soldiers of Squad 7 were afraid that the Akhanid soldiers would die of suffocation, so they hurriedly took the kettles away. As soon as the soldiers of Squad 7 took the kettles away, the Akhanid soldiers climbed up, snatched the kettles, and hid at the door, and drank them up. When the soldiers finished drinking the whole kettle of water, water poured out of their throats as soon as they opened their mouths, but the soldiers hurriedly blocked their mouths for fear of leaking a drop of water. They killed all the reporters. They have no humanity. After the foreigner from Global said this, the soldiers of Squad 7 bandaged their bodies urgently and sent them to Malacca City, where medical care was better, overnight. Chapter 805, Budo Rescue. In order to expose the evil of the United States Army, Anderson, a Swedish reporter from the Globe, held a press conference in Malacca early in the morning. I'm a war correspondent for the Globe. This is my ID. I'm Swedish. Just a few hours ago, the United States Army broke through the town of Cass, and they killed all the resistance, including us non-resistance war correspondents. Just 5 hours ago, 2 of my colleagues escaped with me. My partner died on the way they chased me. Here, I want to protest to the United States. Killing war correspondents is never what the United States, an international organization, should do. I'm a reporter from the Wall Street Freedom Press. What evidence do you have to prove that the United States Army killed reporters? We are the place that respects human rights the most. I believe our army will not do this. A group of American media reporters said, and Anderson shook his head when talking about evidence. His evidence was taken away by the United States Army. I have no evidence, because they took my camera away. But if you don't believe me, you can go to the front line with me. Anderson finished speaking, and before the American reporters could speak, Jiang Chen waved his hand and a dozen soldiers came over and arrested them. What are you doing? You have no human rights. I want to protest. You have been here for several years, slandering me every day, and you are still alive and well. Today I will send all of you to the front line as war reporters, and I want to see if they will kill you. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and the press conference soon dispersed. 40 miles from the entrance of the Budo Canyon, here are the soldiers of the 1st Battalion of the 5th Regiment of the 3rd Army of the Free Army. In the 7th Squad, several soldiers have become familiar with the soldiers who surrendered from the Akhanid. These Akhanid soldiers also decided to join the 7th Squad to fight. The 7th Squad gave them brand new equipment, water bottles, and brand new clothes. After wearing the desert combat uniforms made by Sahara, several Akhanid soldiers were very excited. because this kind of combat uniform can adjust the temperature of their bodies during the day so that they are no longer hot. At night, the special material on the clothes can transfer the heat absorbed during the day to them so that they can't feel the cold of the desert in the bunker. Boom. After the night fell, the 3rd Reinforced Platoon of the 1st Brigade of the Coalition Army, led by Warrant Officer Bell, arrived at the town of Mejia outside the Buto Canyon. After arriving at the town, the Air Force did not carry out airstrikes, and more than 400 coalition troops directly attacked the town. The Ahan army led by Hidajan was still in the front. He had more than 100 people, and many cold-tide people were mixed in the army. Charge. Take Mejia by force at dawn, otherwise the sun will burn you to death after dawn. After Hidajan finished speaking, a group of Ahan people took the lead in charging, but this time they didn't have so much luck. In the bunker on the main road of Mejia town, several fire snakes erupted at the same time and instantly swept Hidajan's team to the ground. After more than 30 people died at once, Hidajan hurriedly found a bunker to hide. Bell's vanguard suffered heavy losses after being suppressed by machine guns. Bell ordered the vanguard to charge more than a dozen times, but they were all repelled by machine guns set at different angles. Seeing that the sky was getting darker and darker, Bell became anxious. In the autumn of the desert, the lowest temperature at night can reach more than 20 degrees below zero, and these soldiers did not bring such thick cotton jackets. Their firepower is too strong, and artillery support is necessary. After Hidajan's column lost 2/3 of its people, Hidajan hurriedly ran to discuss with Lieutenant Bell. Damn it. The planes can't fly here today. They have given up on us to save fuel and go bomb Malacca. After Bell finished cursing, Hidajan asked again, where are the armored troops? The armored troops are waiting for gasoline supplies in case this damn desert has buried the oil fields. All our oil has to be airlifted from other places. When can it be transported? This damn wind and sand can't blow the transport planes here. God knows when it can be transported. After Lieutenant Bell finished speaking, he wrapped a cotton coat around himself. The order he received was to capture the town of Mica intact. After the town of Mica was captured, it would be used as a garrison for the soldiers of the 1st Brigade. Attack. Bell looked at the sky. The stars in the sky were becoming fewer and fewer, which meant that the cold night of the desert would soon come. At the headquarters of the town of Mica, Brigade Commander Wang held an emergency meeting. Brigade Commander Wang, let's lead the charge. Brigade Commander Wang, there are no cowards in our 7th squad. Let's go. No, our lives are precious. We must keep them for the Americans. That's right. Listen to the brigade commander. As long as they can't take down our town before the cold night comes, most of them will freeze to death at night. After Staff Officer Lee finished speaking, Brigade Commander Wang nodded and said, yes, let them know the fear of the desert. From now on, no one is allowed to attack without my order. The defense is still going on. In the time that the mercenaries bought for the 5th Regiment, they built more than 40 bunkers and dug 3 circular trenches in the town of Macau. Therefore, when Bell's soldiers launched the charge, they were knocked down by bullets from all over before they rushed into the town. The grenades thrown by Bell's soldiers could not do anything to the fortress at all, and the rocket launchers flying over could only blow up a piece of dust from the fortress. However, in return, the heavy machine gun bullets in the fortress would make them into sieves. Time passed little by little, and soon it was late at night. 1/3 of Bell's soldiers were injured. The other soldiers retreated one after another when they saw that they would die if they continued to charge forward. After all, the Akhenaten army was not stupid. When the cold wave came, the temperature outside the town of Macau quickly dropped to more than 20 degrees below zero. In such cold weather, even water would turn into ice cubes. What's more, the vanguard of the coalition army did not bring many cold-proof clothes. Therefore, in order to keep out the cold, Bell had to let the soldiers camp and rest under a small hillside. Because there were no tents, many soldiers were crowded together, and many people shivered because of the cold. Bang! Macau town fired a floodlight outward. When the floodlight came on, more than 100 soldiers hiding under the hillside were frightened and hurriedly picked up their guns. The coldness of the iron gun froze their hands that had finally warmed up and fell into the ice again. When the floodlight went out, the surroundings were still very quiet. On such a night, the floodlight of Mecca town fired more than a dozen rounds, but not a single soldier came out of Mecca town. Just when Bell's vanguard was getting used to it, at 5 in the morning, when the temperature just turned above zero, a small team of more than 30 people set out. When the team found Bell's troops, Bell was snoring, and his soldiers were sleeping all over the place. The team confiscated the guns of the sleeping soldiers, and killed the sentries with silencers. After getting rid of the sentries, the team took submachine guns, and fired at the soldiers lying on the sand. Da da da. Da da da. When Bell and Hardajan woke up, they just got up, and several guns were pointed at their heads. Chapter 806. Your fleet is just a fireworks display. After daybreak, all of Bell's 300 plus vanguard troops were killed, and Bell and 7 foreigners from the coalition, including Hidajin, were captured alive. At noon, before Laolal's army arrived at the town of Mecca, a truck had already rushed to Malacca City with 7 prisoners. In Malacca City, Jiang Chen personally participated in the trial. These foreigners refused to tell where the main force of the coalition was, and they asked Jiang Chen to deal with them according to international conventions. Jiang Chen laughed directly. The international community did not recognize them, and he was asked to treat prisoners of war according to the convention. Brother Jiang, forget it, just skin them. After the mayor of Malacca City, Xiomar, Jiang Chen shook his head. Bell, you are not afraid of death, right? I'm a prisoner of war, you can't force me. Okay, I always have a way to deal with stubborn people, Jiang Chen said, and then took Bell and Hidajin to the Heroes Square. Jiang Chen burned 7 pots of oil in the Heroes Square, and then hung the square with the portraits of Metz, the pioneer of contemporary literature in the Akhenet. When the media heard that Jiang Chen had captured an American prisoner of war, hundreds of media came to broadcast live. This is Southeast Asia TV. You are now watching the Malacca Freedom Army frying prisoners of war. Please continue to pay attention. This is the China Street Journal. Oh, look at what they are doing. It's so inhumane. This is the Beijing News. Now we will broadcast the latest news from the front line. The Malacca Freedom Army won the battle to defend the town of Mecca and captured the American Lieutenant Bell who committed the crime of massacre in case. At the request of the people, the Malacca court decided to execute Bell. At noon, when the sun was the strongest, Bell and others were hung on the oil pan. The hot oil in the oil pan made several people scream. Hello everyone, welcome to watch my live broadcast. I said that I would let the Americans know the consequences of invading us. And now, it's time to let them know. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he waved his hand, and several soldiers pressed a button, and Bell and others who were tied up like dumplings were thrown directly into the oil pan. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The oil pan kept boiling, and soon the whole square was filled with the aroma of fried meat. Okay, the United States and your lackeys, you killed my people. This is your fate. And your people, if you want to lose your children, just support your murderers. This is just the beginning. Wait until I reach your territory and see how I kill you all. Jiang Chen turned off the live broadcast after he finished speaking. Because his live broadcast was broadcast on Facebook, many American netizens saw it. American netizens on the other side of the ocean soon quarreled. In the evening, the United Army held the second combat meeting in Kalb. The US headquarters asked them to fight a quick battle at all costs and to minimize the impact of the war. After all, Jiang Chen's power to control public opinion was too strong. After the Kalb meeting, the United Army decided to send the Air Force to attack the city of Malacca. After the evening came, hundreds of bombers that had been airlifted from various countries at a high cost took off from Kalb, the capital of the Akhenet. The plane was discovered by the town of Mecca. As soon as it flew to the town of Mecca, Mecca town hurriedly reported to Malacca. Soon, more than 30 fighter planes from the Kari City Air Force Base took off. At the same time, an alarm sounded over the blood-red Malacca City, and the people in the city fled into their homes. Jiang Chen used the radio and the internet to tell every citizen that their houses could withstand the bombing, so the people outside were soon empty. But when Jiang Chen saw the fleet of planes flying in the distance in a bunker on a small hill, he knew that the US coalition forces must want to make a quick decision this time. Shoot them down. A group of missiles quickly flew out of the Malakori mountain missile base. These missiles were all high position missiles. Once locked, you will definitely not be able to escape unless you self-destruct. Boom boom boom. Another half of the mountain of missiles flew out from the mountain, and the missiles quickly hit the planes in the sky after they flew out. Bang bang bang. There were balls of fire in the sky. After the bomb-laden planes exploded in the sky, they quickly ignited other fighter planes. Therefore, in less than half an hour, there were only less than a dozen planes left in the fleet of hundreds. Oh shit. There is no signal in the desert, and our planes have no signal either. How did they lock onto us? Oh my god. Are they tracking missiles? The anti-control guns can't be so accurate. Boom. After another mountain of missiles flew up, the remaining dozen fighter planes in the sky were also hit. Hundreds of fighter planes performed a fireworks show over Malacca. Half an hour later, the anti-control alarm over Malacca was lifted, and the people walked out of the building to hug and celebrate. After the military reporter finished filming the video, he sent it to Jiang Chen. At 11 o'clock Sahara time, Jiang Chen turned on the live broadcast in Malacca City. He was ready to announce the good news to the world. Good morning, fans and journalists. I'm glad to bring you a morning live show on such a nice morning. Jiang Chen didn't invite the media this time, so the global media could only learn about the war through his live broadcast. Jiang Chen chose Sahara Live for both live broadcasts, and he forced journalists around the world to download and use his Sahara Live. Little yellow bean, it's great to see the anchor alive. The first thing I see when I wake up. Big head ghost, anchor, is there any good news? I saw on the news that the rebels have launched a large-scale attack. Wonderful life, can you still hold on? Remember to say hello when you need brothers. In just a few minutes, hundreds of millions of people poured into Jiang Chen's live broadcast room. Don't worry, it's the United States Anti-Humanity Coalition that can't hold on. Here I want to thank the American people through all the media friends. Thank you for bringing the fireworks show to the people of Malacca after Sahara cancelled all entertainment programs. The people of Malacca like it very much, and I like it too. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, a group of people were stunned. Is the United States so kind? Jiangnan Daily, fireworks show. China Street Daily, you actually still have the mood to watch fireworks. Yesterday, the coalition dispatched 100 fighter planes to bomb Malacca City. You don't care about the lives of the people, and you still have the mood to watch the fireworks? Eagle News. Sure enough, there is a reason for the demise of the desert bandits. After a group of Western media laughed at him, Jiang Chen directly released the fireworks show brought by the coalition. A rumbling sound suddenly came from the blood-red sky, and then a flock of fighter planes like crows flew over like the god of death at the end of the world. The bombers did not fly high. After all, they were fully loaded with bombs. Boom. A plane exploded before it reached the sky above Malacca, and then missiles flew from the ground, and huge fireworks exploded in the sky. The smoke dragged in the sky and turned into long lines, and finally the whole sky turned into a sea of fire. China Street Daily is exciting. Friends, give gifts. Every gift you give will become a bullet and hit the heads of Americans. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, China Street Daily and Eagle News were dumbfounded. The Air Force they thought was very strong turned into fireworks like this. China Street Daily, this is impossible. American pilots are the best pilots in the world. You must have filmed some movie clips. Chapter 807 Welcoming the Rebels. The United States. That is a place where even the death of 2 people would cause an uproar, not to mention the scrapping of so many fighter planes at once. Liu Foreman, oh my god, let's calculate how much money the coalition dogs lost. This modified American Eagle fighter plane is at least 120 million, and these more than 100 planes are at least more than 10 billion. Young man, 6. American people, more than 10 billion just set off a fireworks show. Giant panda, have you caught any living pilots? Show them to American reporters. Speaking of pilots, Jiang Chen actually caught a few, one of whom was a lieutenant pilot. Yes. Friends, prepare the gifts, and deep fry the American lieutenant pilot in 10 minutes. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, He also specially notified Facebook, and he asked Sahara's Facebook to broadcast the whole network live. 10 minutes later, more than a dozen large pots were set up in the Heroes Square, and the crowd watching the deep frying of the pilots on the Heroes Square exceeded tens of thousands. The frying started after a dozen tightly tied pilots showed up one by one. They were thrown into the boiling oil pan. A dozen pilots kept rolling in the oil pan, and there was a squeaking sound from the oil pan. After a while, they stopped struggling. See, this is the end of invading Sahara. All the people of the United States and its allied countries. This is destined to be a war that cannot be won. Your leaders will only throw more children into the oil pan. This time, there may not be your children, but the next one to enter the oil pan may be your children. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, in the Octagon building of the United States, Bugeopu and others were staring at Jiang Chen's frying scene in a daze. What's going on? More than 100 fighter planes didn't even bomb a building. Can anyone tell me what's going on? After Bugeopu roared, several American commanders around him fell silent. Mr. President, now is not the time to pursue responsibility. We must resolve the panic caused by this incident to the people. I believe that it will not be long before the people will take to the streets to protest our military activities, so we must also win a victory. How many fighter planes are there? How many troops does Kalb have? After Bugop finished speaking, a commander stood up and said, all fighter planes were dispatched for this airstrike, and there are no planes now. If there are no planes, send me planes. What is the army doing? Why not advance to Malacca? After Bugop finished speaking, the bald commander shrugged his shoulders and said, logistics can't keep up. The army has no cars that can drive to Malacca. How can we march to Malacca? 3 years ago, the value of the cannon was not high, so the United States withdrew almost all its military equipment. Now if you want to transport these equipment back and transport them in the vast death desert, the difficulty can be imagined. I don't care. Today we must have the army march to Malacca. At noon, Jiang Chen's live broadcast ended. Through this morning's live broadcast, Jiang Chen had won nearly 200 million in rewards for his army. After having the money, Jiang Chen did not sit idle. He directly hired nearly 5,000 mercenaries. In order to persuade the Akhanate soldiers controlled by the US coalition forces to surrender, Jiang Chen directly ordered planes loaded with leaflets to fly to key cities in the Akhanate such as Kalb and Lamaran. The plane took off in the evening and did not fly back from the south until the early morning. This time, the fleet dropped nearly 50,000 leaflets. In addition to the leaflets, Beijing also dropped nearly 7,000 small MP4s. The MP4 played the city promotional video of Malacca City and the speech of the mayor of Malacca City. The mayor of Malacca City called on all Akhanates to unite. Only by truly driving out the troublemaker United States can they gain true freedom and peace. Only by completely defeating the US coalition forces can all the Akhanish people live a happy life like the residents of Malacca. At the same time, the mayor of Malacca also called on the Akhanish people to kill the surrounding coalition forces. As long as they killed all the coalition forces, Malacca promised to give them jobs, water, and let them live in Malacca. At the same time, the mayor of Malacca also called on other brother cities to stand up against the US coalition forces. Once the US coalition forces were defeated, Malacca would give them at least $1 billion in aid for each city. Soon after the leaflets were released, all the major military camps of the Akhanish Empire launched a coup. More and more Akhanish soldiers killed their coalition leaders, and more Akhanish troops decided to stand up and kill the coalition forces and then move closer to the Free Army, because they knew that if they followed the United States, their people would not be able to live a good life. But it would be different if they followed the Free Army. The Free Army would help them build cities, build water sources for them, build factories for them, let their children have books, and let their nation have a future. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the town of Kas heard gunshots, and the fighting continued until dawn. After 4 hours of fierce fighting, the coalition army led by Lao Lao defeated the rebel soldiers of the Akhanate. More than 500 Akhanate soldiers were killed, and more than 1,000 Akhanate soldiers fled to the town of Mecca in the north. After dawn, Lao Lao sorted out his team. He originally had a reinforced brigade of more than 3,600 people, but now there are less than 1,000 people left. Among these 1,000 people, there are nearly 600 Akhanates, and the other more than 400 are companies from various countries. At 11 o'clock in the morning, Lao Lao received an order from Lieutenant General Wilson to stop the Akhanate soldiers fleeing from Kalband Lamaran. They must intercept these people, because these people are indigenous people in the Akhanate area. If all these people rebel, it means that the United States will directly change from justice to an evil force that invades others. At noon, the Kari City Air Force headed towards the Akhanate again. When they flew to the town of Case, they saw the explosion in the town of Case. The plane continued to fly forward, and they saw the Akhanate soldiers fleeing northward in the desert, followed by the US coalition forces. The coalition forces had various equipment such as armored vehicles. The armored vehicles and military motorcycles kept attacking the Akhanate soldiers, and many soldiers fell in the desert while running. One plane returned, and an hour later, Jiang Chen authorized all the Kari City Air Force to load bombs and fly to Case Town. At the same time, the 5th Regiment stationed in Makatown headed towards Case Town. The battle started in Case Town. After a round of bombing by bombers in the sky, the coalition soldiers in Case Town were bombed and hid in the ruins and dared not come out. So more and more Akhanate soldiers crossed Case Town and began to gather in Makatown. Where the plane flew over, the Khanate soldiers, who were like ants, waved their hands and shed tears of excitement. The plane continued to fly forward, and when they encountered troops chasing the Akhanate soldiers, the plane would drop bombs on the coalition forces without hesitation. This time the coalition fighters did not take off, because they knew that the few remaining coalition fighters would be shot like a sieve into a hornet's nest in front of the Kari City Air Force. Chapter 808. Kal Bear Raid. In the evening, when the temperature dropped, the 5th Regiment launched a charge towards the town of Cass. After nearly 2 hours of fierce fighting, the coalition suffered heavy casualties. As night was about to fall, the 5th Regiment's armored forces rushed to the town of Cass. Under the cover of the armored forces and the guidance of the Akhanate soldiers within the coalition, the 5th Regiment successfully destroyed the 1st Brigade led by Lao Lao. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Lao Lao was found in a ruin. At this time, Lao Lao had been beaten into a pulp by several Akhanate soldiers with gun butts. After retaking the town of Cass, Jiang Chen asked the logistics troops to use super trucks to transport super cement to start building fortifications. Jiang Chen knew that the US coalition forces did not dare to launch a large-scale attack now, not because they did not have the strength to fight in the desert. Instead, they were waiting for backup. Once the USA elite forces and the coalition forces of various countries rushed to the Akhanate from all over the world, this fierce battle would really begin. Sure enough, in the middle of autumn, when Jiang Chen covered a large number of Akhanate civilians and soldiers to transfer to Malacca, the United States convened a meeting of all countries of the coalition forces. More than a dozen national leaders gathered together, all with grim expressions. We lost nearly 100 soldiers in the Akhanate, and the Akhanate did not prosper with our help. Therefore, the protests from our people are getting stronger and stronger. I'm ready to withdraw from this battle. After the president of Portugal finished speaking, several other small countries also nodded in agreement. There is no drinking water in the desert, and it is difficult for us to keep up with logistical supplies. This time we sacrificed 5 pilots and lost 5 fighter planes. I don't know how much more we have to lose before we can capture the Sahara region. I don't see any hope. I quit too. This is a war that can't be won at all. After a group of younger brothers clamored, Bugop knocked on the table and said, if you wanted to quit, you wouldn't have come to the meeting. Now is not the time to say angry words. Sahara is just a small place. As long as you take it down, each of your countries will benefit. After Bugop finished speaking, the president of Turkey stood up and said, if you want our country to continue to participate in the war, it's okay. At that time, Future City must be under our management. No, Future City can only be under our management. I demand that the East City district of Future City be handed over to us. A group of people started arguing. After all, there was nothing they were unwilling to do. They only cared about the final distribution of benefits. The Future City must be handed over to the United States. I will double your shares in the other cities. We in the Frost Tide country want to take away the Sahara group. We don't want the territory. We want salmon. An hour later, after a group of bandits discussed the new distribution of interests, more than a dozen countries began to discuss sending troops. Desert warfare must be fast. A large-scale army advance will never destroy the Sahara region. Instead, the cruel desert will destroy us. I suggest that we continue to increase the air force to Kalb. We must defeat the Sahara Air Force with an overwhelming air force advantage. After defeating the Sahara Air Force, we will use drones to detect the location of the Malacca missile base, and then use the army to defeat it. After Lieutenant General Wilson finished speaking, Prime Minister Big Eagle pointed to the capital of the Sahara region on the map and said, "Why do we have to fight Malacca?" After Prime Minister Big Eagle finished speaking, Cui Cheng Heo also said, "Why don't we use the Air Force advantage to directly blow up Future City? As long as Future City is destroyed, we will use paratroopers to defeat the defense of Future City. Even if Malacca City is strong, it will be finished without logistical supplies." After Cui Cheng Heo finished speaking, when it came to bombing Future City, Lieutenant General Wilson said on the side, "If we want to bomb Future City, we must pass over Malacca. If we don't pass over Malacca, we will have to switch to the southwest of Future City to attack. The mountains in the southwest of Future City are high. If we want to cross the mountains, we must climb above the clouds. It is almost winter now. There will be storms in winter, so the risk level is particularly high." After Lieutenant General Wilson finished speaking, the Australian president said, "Can't we act before the winter storm?" That's right. If we fight Sahara in the way of advancing the core, they have a natural geographical advantage. We have to prevent cold and heat, and we are passive everywhere. It is better to send fighters to bomb Future City directly. After more than an hour of discussion, the 12 countries finally reached a consensus. At the end of autumn, Sahara had liberated nearly a dozen cities in the Akhenaten. More than 100,000 free soldiers set out from Malacca and fought all the way to Kalb, the capital of the Akhenaten. Outside the city of Kalb, the earliest batch of coalition forces were almost gone. Nearly 10 million people of all ethnic groups in the Akhenaten surrendered, and 10 million people flocked to the north like a tide. Due to the large number of people leaving, the president of the Akhenaten hurriedly asked the United States for help. At the beginning of winter, when the storm was about to blow, the coalition forces of the 12 countries dispatched thousands of fighters to arrive at the Kalb Air Force Base. Under the night sky, when more than 20,000 Free Army soldiers charged towards Kalb, suddenly hundreds of fighter planes flew into the sky. Missiles and incendiary bombs fell like rain in the endless night sky. Death. The Free Army never thought that death would come so quickly. Boom. An incendiary bomb hit a truck, and more than a dozen soldiers in the truck were instantly engulfed in flames. Bang. An armor-piercing bomb hit a tank, and the newly captured tank was instantly turned into a pile of scrap copper and iron. Boom. Boom. The sound of explosions never stopped on the land outside Kalb. Until dawn, the coalition air force dropped more than 10,000 bombs outside the city of Kalb. After dawn, the Free Army withdrew. This was the biggest defeat the Free Army had experienced since it went south. Nearly 7,000 people died in this bombing. In the northern city of Malacca, news of the defeat on the front line came, and Jiang Chen hurriedly asked the Air Force to cover the withdrawal of the Free Army. After dozens of Kari City Air Force took off, they soon encountered coalition fighters bombing the Free Army over Cherika. There were hundreds of coalition fighters, and the Cherika air battle began. 30 Kari City fighters lined up to fight, and the opposing fighters were not weak either. The two sides kept flying and fighting in the sky. While the Air Force was fighting, 70,000 to 80,000 Free Army troops began to flee. The air battle lasted for 2 hours, and more than 50,000 Free Army troops returned to the basement in Cherika City. The Akhenaten coalition did not chase them out to fight, because they had not yet assembled. In addition to sending thousands of fighters, the coalition also dispatched nearly 20,000 joint combat forces. These are elite soldiers from various countries. They also transported water from Southeast Asia at all costs, all just to win the Sahara battle. At noon, a fighter with a long tail returned from the south, and the fighter crashed as soon as it arrived at the mining base south of Malacca. In order to cover the retreat of the Free Army, all 30 Kari City fighters survived. After hearing the news, Jiang Chen was silent for a long time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 809, Plan to Leap Over the Clouds. Brother Jiang, there is a water shortage in Cherika. The rebels have gathered so many fighters. Our supply lines will definitely be cut off. It's time to mobilize the Sahara Air Force to fight, Xiaomar said, and Jiang Chen shook his head. Just yesterday, the fighter planes of the Rosa Kingdom in the north of Sahara flew over the city of Salmon. The Sahara Air Force was fully dispatched to drive away the invading fighter planes. Although there was no conflict between the two sides, Jiang Chen knew that this was a bad signal. The Rosa Kingdom was testing him, and it was not only the US coalition forces that were eyeing this piece of fat meat. The Sahara Air Force cannot be moved. I would rather lose Malacca and Kari City than move the Sahara Air Force. Jiang Chen made his attitude clear, and Xiaomar sighed. Brother Jiang, are we just going to let them bully us? Withdraw all the people to Malacca, and settle them down, and all the free forces will be stationed in Taska City. If we don't take the initiative to attack, and they dare to come to Malacca, the Malacca missiles will let them know what death is. Jiang Chen didn't want to fight a decisive battle with the coalition forces in the Akhanate Desert, because he was not in an advantageous position. But if the enemy dared to come to Malacca, Jiang Chen could use modern missiles to defeat them. Another point is that Jiang Chen didn't want to fight a quick battle. He wanted to delay the US coalition forces. Delaying them in the desert for one day would cause the coalition forces to lose millions of US dollars. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Xiaomar could only think of ways to settle the refugees of the Akhanate. In November, a large number of free forces covered the people and began to withdraw from Kalb to Taska City. What surprised Jiang Chen was that the coalition planes did not come to bomb. Maybe they themselves felt that the lives of the Akhanate people were so cheap that they were not even worth the bombing shells. However, Wilson didn't think so. He was accumulating gasoline ships from the rear to prepare to cross the mountains to bomb the future city. In mid-November, the coalition spent a lot of money to transport oil from Iraq to Kalb. With gasoline, Lieutenant General Wilson was ready to launch the bombing of the future city. At the end of November, in the early morning, the last batch of Free Army fighters arrived in Tusk, and Tusk had turned into a green ocean. Most of the houses in Tusk were demolished, and Jiang Chen rebuilt houses on them. These houses were built densely, each one was very high, and the shortest one had more than 40 floors. These were all homes prepared for refugees. When the refugees moved into Tusk, in the early morning, when the sky was still full of stars, the people living on the top floor of Tusk found that a series of fighter planes appeared on the skyline. Tusk City has no signal coverage, so even if they saw the enemy's fighter planes, they could not notify Jiang Chen who was far away in Sahara. So they could only watch the fighter planes like a large flock of birds flying towards Malacca City. Woo woo woo. The alarm sounded over Taska, and dazzling flash bombs hit the sky. After the distant Malacca City signal station observed Taska's signal, they also hurriedly sounded the alarm. After the alarm sounded, people who woke up early on the street hurriedly fled into their houses. But to everyone's surprise, thousands of fighter planes did not fly to Malacca City. They flew towards Kanishan City along the Malacca missile base. Brother Jiang, the US bombers are coming, and the Kari City Air Force is on standby. When Jiang Chen was sleeping soundly, Xiaomar hurriedly called him. After the call was connected, Jiang Chen hurriedly ran to the window. In the dark sky in front of the window, he could only hear the rumbling sound of airplanes in the distance, but he could not see the shadow of the airplane. How many planes are there? At least 500 or 600. Let the Air Force stay on standby. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and Xiaomar's disappointed voice came from the other end of the phone. Brother Jiang, they are all hitting their heads. Stand by. Jiang Chen hung up the phone after speaking. Xiaomar is the executive mayor of Malacca City. He naturally cares about Malacca's safety, but Jiang Chen knows that the Kari City Air Force cannot be moved. Kari City has only more than 40 fighter planes in total. In the previous battle, 30 were directly lost, and now there are only a dozen. If the Cary City planes take off now, they will be wiped out in an instant in front of 500 or 600 enemy planes. All missiles are ready to launch. After hanging up Xiaoma's phone, Jiang Chen directly connected the phone to the missile bases in the south and west of Malacca. After the call was connected, the commander-in-chief of the missile base on the other end of the phone was wiping his sweat anxiously. Brother Jiang, there is no display on the radar. They are not coming to Malacca City. The coverage of the Malacca missile base is only the area covered by Malacca's communication. Beyond the green areas of Malacca, there is no signal. In places without signals, missiles are not as effective as pistols. Where did they go? Jiang Chen said anxiously. The commander of the missile base looked at the sky, and suddenly he shouted, "Not good. Brother Jiang, those planes are probably heading to Future City. Because of the tight budget, the mountains in the south, and the Malacca missile base and the Cary City Bayodan base as barriers, Future City did not set up a missile patrol base in the south. If these planes flew over the Cany Mountains, they would be fully capable of bombing Future City. Moreover, the other side directly dispatched 700 or 800 fighters, and the bombs carried by these planes could destroy the entire Future City. Cary City planes will take off immediately and bomb Calb. It would definitely be too late to take care of Future City now, so Jiang Chen immediately made the decision to attack Calb. After the order was issued, the Cary City Air Force took advantage of the night to head towards Calb. Jiang Chen was not idle either. Since the other side chose to give him the ultimate battle, Jiang Chen would also use all his strength to fight Migao to the death. So Jiang Chen drove towards the desert west of Malacca. When he arrived at the desert west of Malacca, Jiang Chen really clicked on the one key planting on his mobile phone. He planted green grass on the main roads in the west of Malacca leading to Future City. After the grass was planted, Jiang Chen planted telecommunication base stations on the grass. After the base stations were built, he called Malacca Communications Company to quickly connect the network to the entire western grassland. The people of Malacca Communications Company started to build communication tools overnight, and Jiang Chen drove a car to plant several super wind cannons on the grassland. After the sky was completely bright, Jiang Chen stood on the high grassland watchtower and looked at the hills in the north with an electronic pulse telescope. He knew that the enemy planes would cost Future City trillions of yuan this time, and what he had to do was to destroy all these fighters on the way back. Bang bang bang. The electronic pulse telescope could see Cany Mountain City 100 miles away. What surprised Jiang Chen was that Cany Mountain City was still intact at this moment. And those fighters that tried to cross the mountain suddenly exploded in the sky. These fighters were like small moths hitting a huge glass bottle in the vast desert sky. Chapter 810, killing thousands of fighter planes. The plane exploded and then crashed into the desert with a bang. Immediately afterwards, the following planes also hit the glass cover, and they also fell into the endless desert like flies. Thousands of fighter planes were like thousands of flies. They were very fast. Before they understood what was happening in front of them, they all exploded in the sky. Windbreak. Great. The plane can't crash through the windbreak. Sparks exploded in the sky, which were much more exciting than a few days ago. Jiang Chen was so excited that he almost cried on the observation tower. Although he was excited, Jiang Chen did not forget to turn on the video function quickly. He wanted to record the video of thousands of coalition fighter planes exploding in the air. At noon, in the Calb Command Hall, Lieutenant General Wilson walked around anxiously in his office. The door creaked open and a major ran in a panic. "Lieutenant General, it's bad. The planes from Cary are coming. Please hurry to the air raid shelter. They have dispatched all the planes from Cary this time." After the major finished speaking, Wilson grabbed his collar and yelled, "Where are the fighters? Why haven't our fighters come back yet?" A whole morning had passed. According to their plan, their planes should have returned by now. I don't know. There is no news from the front. General, go to the air raid shelter and hide. After the major finished speaking, there was a sudden loud bang, and Wilson's command hall shook instantly. Lieutenant General Wilson hurriedly hid in the air raid shelter. At this moment, the bombing of Cary City really began. Fighter planes first bombed the military camp in Calb, and then bombed the military airport and gas station in Calb. The coalition forces stationed in Calb could only use anti-aircraft guns to fight back. They had no spare fighter planes. They never dreamed that the Cary City Air Force would dare to come to their hinterland to be arrogant. Just as the Cary City Air Force had dropped all the bombs, they returned to Cary City. In the evening, Jiang Chen integrated all the materials. He was going to hold an online media meeting and a live broadcast. He wanted to announce the combat effectiveness of the Sahara region to the world through the online media meeting, and also wanted to tell his people through the live broadcast that they would always be the safest living in Future City. Of course, by holding this online media meeting, Jiang Chen also wanted to send a signal to the Rosa country in the north. My Future City is fully capable of blocking the US coalition forces, and you, the Rosa country, don't even think about attacking me. At the Future City Global Conference Center, after Jiang Chen opened the live broadcast and various media network live broadcast rooms, more than 300 million people soon flooded into his live broadcast room. Good evening, friends from the media and residents of Future City. I'm very happy to chat with you here again. Before we chat, I would like to announce a good news to you. Just this morning, the US coalition dispatched 1,000 fighter jets to bomb Future City. However, they failed. All of their more than 1,000 fighter jets were annihilated by us, and all the pilots were killed in the battle. They will also be nailed to the pillar of shame for invading Sahara forever. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, the whole country of Sahara was jubilant. At the same time, in the presidential palace of the northern Rosa country, the pen in the hand of the president who had been paying close attention to Sahara's death suddenly stopped. How is it possible? With 1,000 coalition fighter jets, even we would have to fight a fierce battle. How did they do it in such a small place? Just a few hours ago, Rosa had intercepted the news that thousands of coalition planes were going to fly over Potian Peak. The president of Rosa wanted to wait until Future City was bombed before sending troops directly to Salman City. They wanted to get a piece of the pie from the Sahara region, but when the news came, the president's desire to get a piece of the pie instantly disappeared. Send them a message to celebrate their victory over the US invasion army, and let the Ministry of Foreign Affairs issue a statement to the public that we recognize Jiang Chen's leadership over the new Turkestan region. After thinking for a while, the president of Rosa directly released the news. After the president of Rosa released the news, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Rosa called Guangku again to establish diplomatic relations. At the same time, the more than 30,000 troops stationed in Salman City of Rosa began to retreat to the north. Hearing the news of the retreat of the Rosa troops, Guangku cried with joy. If the US coalition forces are wolves, then Rosa is a tiger. When the wolves in the south come, they still have a windbreak as a fortress, but when the tigers in the north come, they can only open their stomachs and let it bite. Cat of Sunny Day's house. 666. The US coalition forces are invincible. They have disrupted the Middle East and ran to East Asia to make trouble. This time someone finally came out to deal with them. Ocean boss, great. 1,000 fighters were shot down at one time. The US coalition forces are about to cry. Dong Fang Hong. Ha ha ha. This is the biggest shame in the history of the US coalition forces. 1,000 fighters. The freight from various countries to the Akhenaten is no less than hundreds of millions. This fighter is equivalent to 100 million yuan, and 1,000 fighters are also hundreds of billions of yuan. CD action. Fighter planes are a small matter. The US coalition forces have plenty of money. But this killed more than 1,300 pilots, which will definitely cost the lives of the coalition forces. Apple Daily, what evidence do you have to prove that you shot down 1,000 fighters? If it's just bragging, who wouldn't brag? Big Eagle Daily, please believe in the coalition forces. The righteous coalition forces will definitely liberate the people of the Akhenaten as soon as possible. Crime, the coalition forces have never been righteous. I'm just an honest farmer. I will farm in the south of the Akhenaten for generations. Who did we provoke? Why did the coalition use bombs to bomb us? You killed my old parents, my children, and my arm, and you still say you are here to save me. You are the devil in this world. Want to live? You say you represent justice. Do you know who the Akhenaten people hate the most now? Now the people in the south of the Akhenaten would rather die on the road than go north. They just want to survive in the north, because they know that under the rule of the coalition, they are worse than dogs. South China Daily. According to statistics, 80% of the people in the Akhenate have been transferred to Lamran and Tasker outside the city of Malacca. In addition, 90% of the deaths of the people in the Akhenate were caused by the US coalition forces. This is an indisputable reality. Global Times. Andre and several reporters from the China Street Journal and the Cold Wave News have been beheaded by the coalition forces in the town of Cass. Facts have proved that, even if you are one of us, you can't escape the fate of death. A group of people don't believe that Jiang Chen really shot down 1,000 fighter planes. After all, they still know the combat effectiveness of the coalition forces. The 12 countries that formed the coalition were all top developed countries in the world, and their troops' combat effectiveness and technology were unique in the world. Even the Rosa and China in the north did not dare to confront them head-on, let alone the tiny Sahara region. Chapter 811. Intimidating the Luotia nation. A group of people were unwilling to believe the facts, so Jiang Chen didn't waste any words. He directly played a video of thousands of fighter planes crashing in the desert in the early morning in the live broadcast room. In the video, the fighter planes were still emitting thick smoke, and almost every place where the planes fell was smashed into a big pit, and the aircraft parts in the pit were scattered everywhere. By the way, I told the people of the coalition last time that you send your children to the desert to die. If you don't believe me, then I will share something interesting with you. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he played the video of the Kari City Air Force bombing the Kalb coalition base. In the video, the Air Force dropped bombs one by one, and those bombs exploded in the coalition military camps that were fleeing frantically everywhere. There was not even a tree in the bare desert area, and these coalition forces couldn't find a place to hide. So the coalition forces, who were fleeing like ants, could only let the Kari City Air Force bomb them on the ground. Bombs were just a small matter. In the military camps in Kalb City, where the population was relatively concentrated, the Kari City Air Force also dropped incendiary bombs. After the incendiary bombs were dropped, the frantically fleeing coalition forces were burned into roasted grasshoppers one by one. Smith, oh my god, what are they doing? Didn't our president say that thousands of fighter planes have been assembled? Why don't our planes come out to intercept them? Colorful wings, great. It's so exciting to watch. Bomb them like this. They are a group of beasts. When I think of them using bombs to blow a little girl to death, I can't help but smash them all to death. Birds in the sky. Look at the video above. At least thousands of coalition forces died this time. I really don't understand what the people of the United States think. You like to make money from war, but do you also like to push your children into the mountains of knives? It has to be said that Jiang Chen is a top master of online public opinion guidance. When Jiang Chen played the video of thousands of coalition fighter planes crashing, and the video of Kari bombing Kalab, the entire United States and the countries to which the coalition forces belonged were blown up. In the United States, when the bad news spread to the families of the soldiers one by one, those families all ushered in a moment of grief. So more and more people began to oppose the war, more and more people began to take to the streets, and more people said that they would not vote for Borg. The same is true for several other countries. They originally wanted to divide up the precious wealth of the Sahara region. But the precious wealth of the Sahara region was not divided up, and they paid tens of billions or even hundreds of billions of dollars in losses. This money is not a small amount for a country's finances. This time our airstrike destroyed at least 3 military bases of the invading army, killing and injuring 5,000 people. In the future, we will also invest a lot of fighter jets to bomb the invading army. Tomorrow, your family will hear bad news. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and when they heard that Jiang Chen was going to continue bombing the Kalb military base, many people tagged the spokesperson of the United States. War report. Can the United States explain where the coalition's fighter jets went? Western Morning News. May I ask the United States? 12 countries can't beat a small desert country, and the damage is so serious. What is the point of launching this war? Half an hour later, at the strong request of major media, the spokesperson of the United States, the bald foreigner, appeared in the joint speaking hall. Hello everyone, this is the United States News Release Center. Pay attention to the questions raised by everyone about the significance of war. I will reply here. The purpose of our war here is to save the people of the Akhanate and the Sahara region who are in dire straits. In addition, we have confirmed that the Sahara region has made contact with aliens. They will destroy the entire Earth. We must destroy them at all costs. After the United States spokesperson finished speaking, Jiang Chen smiled. I would like to ask, how did you know that the people of Sahara were in dire straits? Did you guess? And how did you know that we had made contact with aliens? To be honest, if I could make contact with aliens, I would have sent you to hell. And about the question of the Akhanate, you said that they are in dire straits. I admit it, but their dire straits are all caused by you. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, the bald foreigner stopped talking. China Daily. It is easy to find excuses to accuse someone of a crime. It is really disappointing that the United States even found such a far-fetched reason. Rosa News. Rosa condemns the United States' unwarranted attack on regional peace. Starting this year, Rosa will no longer pay dues to the United States. Fat Kim's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Fat Kim strongly condemns the United States attack. From today, Fat Kim recognizes the legitimacy of the Sahara region's regime and establishes diplomatic relations with Sahara Future City. Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. China recognizes the legal status of the Sahara region. As a special region of Sahara, China has always attached importance to the development of the Sahara region. The development of the Sahara region in recent years is obvious to all. Any attack on it is unjust. Therefore, I, on behalf of China, announce the continued establishment of diplomatic relations with the Sahara region and prohibit any individual or organization from harming the Sahara region. Otherwise, they will be punished, even if they are far away. Zheng Yi, a young Chinese diplomat, said this in a loud voice, which instantly resonated with the Chinese people. Angel City, they will be punished, even if they are far away. This sentence moved me to tears. For more than 100 years, we were not strong enough, so we could only condemn, and condemn again. This time we finally became tough. Mainstay, we must be tough and prohibit all hegemonic behavior from happening around us. After China issued a statement, at Jiang Chen's most difficult moment, 3 countries had already stood up to support him. Jiang Chen was very moved. Thank you for your support for peace. From today, I will cancel all of China's debts on the loan. From today, I will provide $10 billion to Jinpang country for national liberation work, and I will continue to support Jinpang country until Han Chao country withdraws from the coalition. Rosa Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We propose to establish an organization in the Sahara region that is truly dedicated to world peace. Please ask the Sahara leader for authorization. After Rosa Ministry of Foreign Affairs finished speaking, Jiang Chen thought about it. This is indeed an opportunity. He established a new organization and then declared the coalition illegal, thus defeating the United States morally. Since Rosa recommended it, I will announce the establishment of the Xiangaya Peace Alliance. All countries that join this organization will enjoy the funding and technological assistance from the Saharan region. In addition, the purpose of this organization is to establish a truly democratic and free Asian alliance. The alliance guarantees that every Asian country can live a life of self-determination. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Hua Guo, Jinpang and Rosa quickly gave thumbs up. Chapter 812 Desert Alliance. Rosa is the biggest enemy of the United States, so once the enemy of the enemy, then it is a friend. Moreover, Rosa also believes that Jiang Chen has definitely mastered alien technology, which will allow the Sahara region to continue to lead the Earth, so it is definitely the best choice to be with Jiang Chen at this moment. Moreover, after the incident of 1,000 US fighter planes being shot down, Rosa and other countries knew that Jiang Chen might really have super weapons. For such a neighbor with super weapons, it is better to be a friend than an enemy. Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Rosa, we announce that we will join the Xiangaya Peace and Development Alliance. For the stability of Asia, we will prohibit all countries and regions from implementing aggressive policies in Asia. At the same time, we announce that, if the coalition forces dare to attack the Sahara region, we will launch an attack on the coalition forces of the Khanate. Rosa controls the northwest region of the Khanate, and they have been watching the tigers fight from the mountain. But after Jiang Chen defeated the coalition forces twice in a row, Rosa felt that the opportunity had come, and it was time to take more initiative. Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Italy, we are very disappointed to announce that we will withdraw from the coalition forces. We thought that the coalition forces were just and fought for the development of mankind. However, after joining the coalition, we only saw their slaughter of the people of the Khanate and the destruction of the Sahara economy. Even the reason they invaded the Sahara region was that they promised to divide Sahara to the participating countries. We are very disappointed. Here, I declare that we will join the Xi'an Peace Development Alliance, and we will unite to truly contribute to world peace. In the coalition, Italy was the first to turn against them. Jiang Chen didn't understand what benefits he would get from joining the coalition. Jiang Chen built a car factory in Italy. How much tax revenue did the car factory bring to Italy every year? It's good that Italy has come to its senses, but as one of the main culprits of the coalition, we will not let the people who were killed by you for no reason feel disappointed. Therefore, we will refuse Italy's joining. In addition, our Sahara group will withdraw from all Italy companies. Not only Italy, from now on, Sahara group will withdraw from all companies in the invading countries and fire all employees in the invading countries. These companies include Rotten Apple, Stella Motors, Teflon Automotive Group, Pagod Automotive Group and other companies. I will announce the specific list later. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, the entire network exploded soon. Xiang Fukition, why? I object. James, what does our work have to do with them? A group of opposing voices said. Jiang Chen pointed to the list of fallen soldiers in the square in the distance and shouted, "Do you think you are innocent? Every penny of your income has become a bullet, and these bullets have hit our people. So you are the accomplices behind the scenes." Also, I said that I will never treat any employee of Sahara Enterprise or cooperative enterprise unfairly. From now on, all employees of Sahara in the invaded country, I will give you an immigration quota. If you want to work in your original company, you must immigrate to Sahara, otherwise, you will automatically resign without a penny of compensation. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, many people argued. Kyangran technology, attacking Sahara is a stupid move. Without the work of Rotten Apple, how will my family live? Garden Peters, oh, buy cake. Am I going to be unemployed? What does the war have to do with me? I have never voted for Bugop. Half an hour later, Rotten Apple ended the shareholders meeting. After the shareholders unanimously discussed, they did not think that the United States could win this war. They also believed that, if they left the technology in the Sahara region, their Rotten Apple company would be dead. Because the National Defense Council will replace them internationally, Rotten Apple company immediately issued a statement. In Jiang Chen's live broadcast room, the Rotten Apple company account also forwarded the statement. Rotten Apple company, we are very sorry for the aggressive behavior of Bugaopu. The Sahara region is a peace-loving place. In order to express our loyalty, we announce that Rotten Apple company will officially withdraw from the United States. After friendly communication with Sahara, we announce that Rotten Apple company will settle in building number 1, Central Avenue, future West City. Here, we call on all employees in the invaded country to go with us to a peaceful and prosperous area, which will be the last paradise for mankind. After Rotten Apple company issued a statement, the US-based T4 Automotive Group and Stellar Enterprises soon issued a joint statement. T4 Automotive, we protest against the aggressive behavior of Bugaopu, and we are very disappointed. Starting today, T4 Automotive's headquarters will be moved to the future city Auto Town in Sahara district. We call on all employees to cherish this immigration opportunity. Sahara is definitely the most glorious place in your life. Stellar Automotive, after friendly communication with the Sahara region, Stellar Automotive's headquarters will be moved to the future city Auto Town. We call on all employees to go to the future city with us. The future city is definitely a better place than Manhattan. Soon, many automobile and technology companies from the invading countries announced that they would move to Sahara for development. After all, Sahara holds the lifeline of their global competition. For example, if Sahara Automobile cuts off Stella's battery, then Stella's market will soon be divided up by several Japanese automobiles with core battery technology. For example, Tefl Automobile, the thin and light steel, provided by the Sahara region, will greatly reduce the fuel consumption of automobiles. Moreover, the thin and light Sahara steel is strong and durable, which is a necessary steel for many aerospace materials and special machinery. Therefore, once this core thing is lost, it is simply a slow death for some companies that are positioned in the world. Paget Automobile Group. Starting today, Paget Automobile will be transferred to the future city automobile town, and all corporate employees can apply for special immigration. After the announcement of several major automobile groups, some high-end companies soon became uncomfortable. Most of these companies come from the coalition countries. After all, their industrial base is there. Franco Aerospace Association. What should we do? Don't cut off our supply of special steel. Australian Agricultural Machinery Association. Our Agricultural Machinery Association firmly opposes this invasion, and we call on the country to withdraw from the invasion. In addition, we call on the Sahara region not to cut off our supply of special steel. Thank you very much. After a group of associations started to speak up, Jiang Chen smiled. I'm sorry, I have only one principle, either move the headquarters to Sahara, move it now, or cut off the supply. It's that simple. No need to beg me. Go back and thank your government. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he announced another good news to everyone. From now on, all countries threatened by the desert can apply to join the desert alliance I'm about to create. For all the countries that join, I will help them develop and base stations, the internet, heavy industry, tourism and other aspects. At the same time, I will also consider whether to sell grass seedlings depending on their degree of cooperation. Jiang Chen has been thinking about establishing a desert alliance organization, and he thinks now is a good time to bring it up. Because if they dare to join him when the strongest coalition in the world is attacking him, it is enough to prove that this country is the loyal partner he needs. Chapter 813. 8 countries join. Hesitation. After Jiang Chen's announcement, more countries chose to hesitate. Half an hour later, no country announced its joining. Western news. Great minds think alike. No one will join your anti-human organization. Australian Morning Post. The desert problem is caused by you. I think all righteous countries will join the coalition. Half an hour ago, Australia decided to send another 2,000 troops to the Akhanate. For the future of mankind, Australia is willing to fight to the death. Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Emirate of Arab. We believe that the desert problem is a major problem for the entire world at present. In desert governance, the United States has not made any effort, but has focused all its energy on aggression. We are very disappointed with this. I announce that the Emirate of Arab will withdraw from the United States. We will join the Sahara Desert Alliance organization, which aims to govern the desert. We will also arrange a delegation to go to the Sahara region as soon as possible to sign cooperation agreements in related fields. The Free Military Government of the Akhanate. I announce that the 5 northern cities of the Akhanate have joined the Sahara Desert Alliance. Governing the desert is something that all mankind must do. In this area of the desert, the United States should really reflect on it. Pakistan. We have been committed to desert control and prevention. Now the desert has been pushed to the border of Pakistan. We are willing to withdraw from the United States and cooperate with the Sahara region to resist the invasion of the Sahara Desert in East Asia. Syria. After discussion, we are willing to join the Sahara Desert Alliance Committee. Our country is dying because of the war provoked by the United States. When the Sahara Desert raged, the United States left. Our people lived in caves. We had no water and no food. We sought help. We joined the Sahara Desert Alliance. Asia was originally the most beautiful place in the world. This desert was caused by the United States. We will fight to the end. Pharaoh. Our country has a long history. We are also willing to build a new desert order with the Sahara region, which also has a long history. From today, we will launch the United States, which no longer represents justice. In a blink of an eye, 6 countries joined the Sahara Desert Alliance. Together with the powerful China and Russia, the Desert Alliance has 8 countries. Jiang Chen was very pleased. Thank you all for joining us. Just as the Western media said, great minds think alike. The future of the desert depends on us. Now I announce that the Sahara region will provide 1 year of free greening grass seeds to the countries that have joined. In addition, starting today, the Sahara region will launch its own currency, the Sahara yuan. I hope that those countries troubled by the desert can also use the Sahara yuan, which will never depreciate. Jiang Chen had the idea of launching his own currency a long time ago, but he has never been recognized by the world, so it is difficult to launch it. But now it is different. It is just the right time to launch the Sahara yuan when the whole world is paying attention to him. This is definitely a heavyweight publicity. In the evening, Jiang Chen left the live broadcast room. Today he dealt a heavy blow to the coalition forces. I believe that the coalition forces will not be able to launch an effective attack for a period of time. Therefore, taking advantage of this period of relaxation, Jiang Chen is ready to quickly push the Sahara yuan and the Desert Alliance onto the track. The matter of the Sahara yuan is easy to say. Jiang Chen has discussed it with Guangku and Zahedong and other mayors of various cities a year ago. They will establish the Sahara People's Bank in the Central Economic Zone of Future City, and the Sahara People's Bank will be responsible for issuing the Sahara yuan. Then, corresponding banks will be established in each city, such as Future City Bank, Sac City Bank, Salmon Bank, and banks in Kari City, West City, Malacca, etc. In addition, he will also establish Sahara Bank for foreign exchange and Desert Bank for world currency. After the establishment of the bank, the denomination of Sahara yuan will be the next. Because the Sahara region has sufficient gold reserves, Salmon Dynasty Gold Vault, coupled with the prosperous economy of the Sahara region, the denomination and value of Sahara yuan should be high. In terms of denomination, Sahara launched the largest denomination of 1000 yuan in cash, followed by 500, 100, 50, 20, 10 yuan, and the lowest is 5 yuan. Coins are set for less than 5 yuan, 1 yuan, 50 cents, 10 cents, etc. In terms of value, Jiang Chen mainly refers to huayuan. 1 sayuan is equivalent to 1 huayuan, and the exchange rate will be increased after stability in the later stage. In addition, in the next 2 years, Sahara region will use sayuan and huayuan at the same time, and huayuan will gradually withdraw from Sahara region after 2 years. After setting up the currency, it proves that the Sahara region led by Jiang Chen is a national organization. Meli, I'll leave the bank's affairs to you. Jiang Chen dialed an unfamiliar number. The person on the other end of the phone was the vice president of the People's Bank of China. Don't worry, Jiang, I'll take care of this. After hanging up the phone, Jiang Chen drove to Future West City again. The Asian Peace Development Council was built in Future City, and Jiang Chen planned the Sahara Desert Development Alliance in Future West City. When he arrived at the central district of Future West City, Jiang Chen reserved a building as the office building of the Sahara Desert Development Alliance. Next to the office building, Jiang Chen also selected many communities as residences for ministers from various countries, and for participants from various countries during meetings. After the place was selected, Jiang Chen called Guangku again. After Guangku arranged for a vice mayor of Future City to take over the work, the matter was considered completed. Time passed quickly. In midwinter, the weather in the desert became worse and worse. The joint forces once again assembled an army of nearly 30,000 people. This time they planned to launch an attack on Sahara from land. On December 7th Sahara time, the desert wind and sand became stronger and stronger. The coalition forces arrived in Abad city less than half a month after they set out from Kabul. Abad is a northern city controlled by the Free Army, where 5,000 mercenaries are stationed. In the early morning, when it was just dawn, more than 10,000 coalition forces attacked the city of Abad. Hundreds of armored vehicles and tanks took the lead, and tens of thousands of coalition forces mixed with nearly 20,000 Akhanate troops quickly attacked the city of Baldur under the morning sun. Boom. As soon as the tank arrived in the city, a rocket launcher hit the track of the tank. After the track broke, the tank stopped on the road. Boom. The tank found the mercenaries on the building, and a shell hit it, and the dilapidated 3-story building collapsed. Charge, charge, charge. The coalition commander Houston Keith shouted beside an abandoned oil pipeline, and the soldiers hiding behind the tanks and ruins marched towards the city. Da-da-da. A heavy machine gun was stationed on the second floor of a building. After the heavy machine gun sounded, it quickly killed 4 or 5 soldiers who were rushing to the front. The soldiers' offensive steps were blocked, and Keen shouted angrily, "Bazooka, shoot him with a bazooka." A soldier carried a bazooka and fired a shot, but surprisingly, the bazooka exploded more than 40 meters in front of the building. It's barbed wire. Da da da. The heavy machine gun found the rocket launcher and shot him with a row of bullets so that he dared not show his head. Hurry up and attack. We must capture Abad before noon. Keen shouted, and soon a tank drove over from a distance, and the tank hit the two-story building with heavy machine gun bullets. Lieutenant General Wilson once ordered that ammunition must be saved to the greatest extent because the cannon itself did not have an arsenal. Their ammunition was airlifted from the United States and other countries, and the money for these ammunition was more valuable than Abad's broken house. Just as the tank was about to knock down the brick second floor, the mercenary on the upper floor jumped out of the building and escaped. Chapter 814, Atomic High Explosive Mine. As time passed, Lieutenant General Wilson's vanguard Keene Corps quickly pushed to the center of Bald. When Keene captured the cathedral in the center of Bald, the Battle of Bald ended. After the battle, Keene sent someone to drive a motorcycle to notify the large troops behind. The follow-up troops of Keene's regiment were the 3rd Division led by his superior man Owen. At this moment, the 3rd Division was rushing to Jadid outside Bald, where they encountered stubborn resistance from the youth army supported by the Rosa state. After leaving behind more than 500 bodies, Owen finally captured this ruined small county town. It was obvious that the small county town could not accommodate the entire 3rd Division, so after receiving the news, Owen hurriedly led the large troops to move closer to Bald. He had to rush to Bald when the wind and sand reached its peak in the evening, otherwise the cold wind in the night would freeze them all to death in the wild. In the evening, the afterglow of the setting sun faded, and the temperature in the desert dropped to -4 or 5 degrees Celsius. At the Boulder City Hall, Owen stood on the high roof and looked at the north of the Akhanate. He didn't know when this battle would end. This was the most unconfident war he had ever fought, because here, all the technology was useless, and all they could do was fight with their lives. Obviously, Owen was unwilling to exchange the lives of American soldiers for the lives of the poor desert people who were as poor as mice. Lieutenant Owen, more than 100 soldiers got heat stroke today, and our medicine can't keep up. Oh, damn. What are the logistics supply people doing? They are transporting gasoline and cotton clothes, but no medicine or anything else. Oh, shit. Do they think our lives are as poor as the rebels? Call me and tell them to send the heat stroke medicine over. This damn high temperature during the day. After Owen finished speaking, the adjutant beside him shook his head. There is no way to call. Since the desert came, the signals here have been swallowed by the desert. Oh, shit. After Owen cursed a few words, the night fell soon, and the weather became colder. The adjutant brought a fur coat, and Owen put it on while cursing and went downstairs. It was 7 in the morning, before dawn. When the people of the 3rd Division were still asleep, Jiang Chen had already taken out his mobile phone and started recording. Brother Jiang, shall we start? Let's start, Jiang Chen said, and he clicked the recording button. The adjutant beside him waved his hand, and a man with a suitcase behind him pushed the suitcase. After the suitcase was pushed, there was a loud rumble, and the entire Bald City instantly turned into a huge ball of light. Boom. Bang. The ground under their feet was shaking, and this shaking was accompanied by waves of sand and dust rushing around. Jiang Chen and others hurriedly lay down in the pile of dirt, and the roof of the jeep behind them was instantly cut off by the ripples of the explosion. Boom. The explosion continued, the earth was shaking, and the desert was roaring. In less than 2 minutes, Jiang Chen and others were buried in the sand pile by the surging sand waves. When Jiang Chen woke up again, it was 2 hours later. Coming out of the tall sand dune, Jiang Chen opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of sand. The surroundings became quiet. Jiang Chen stood on the sand dune, where the sand was surging. At this moment, the city of Bald had long disappeared. Success. The adjutant shouted, and was almost excited to tears. Looking at the huge sinkhole in the distance, Jiang Chen couldn't help shaking his head. He was not proud of the scientists in the Sahara region who developed the super high explosive atomic mine. He only felt sorry for the tens of thousands of soldiers who died in Bald. Brother Jiang, as long as we put this kind of mine on the road they must pass. No matter how many people come, they will just die. After the adjutant finished speaking, Jiang Chen retracted his gaze. War is so cruel. Let the Sahara arsenal hurry up to produce it. In addition, high explosive aerial bombs must also be produced. The war cannot be dragged on. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, several scientists behind him nodded. Driving back to Malacca City, Jiang Chen uploaded the photo of Bald City to Facebook and attached a sentence on it. All 10,000 people from Owen's 3rd Division died in Boulder. After the video was uploaded, it quickly caused panic in the world. Half an hour later, Jiang Chen opened the news, and all major news platforms were flooded with the news. Pacific News. Oh my god, has the Sahara region developed an atomic bomb? This is a weapon of mass destruction, and it must be sanctioned. Beijing News. The United States also has atomic bombs and nuclear weapons, so why not sanction it? Pacific News. The United States is just and is committed to maintaining world peace. Roadside News. Tens of thousands of coalition troops died in Boulder. What weapons does the Sahara region have? How many more people will have to die in exchange for the liberation of Sahara? Swiss News. Why should Sahara be liberated? Are the people of Sahara unhappy? Are you asking how many more people will have to be sacrificed to make the people of Sahara live in dire straits? China News Network. I would like to ask the people of the countries where the coalition forces are located, how many people will have to die before you can organize your country's stupid actions? Global Time and Space. It is reported that since the war, the United States has sacrificed 700 soldiers, which is the heaviest casualties for the United States since the Southeast Asian War. After watching the news, Jiang Chen felt that it was time to start a live broadcast. In the evening, the coalition forces had not received the news that Owen's 3rd Division was completely destroyed, and they were still advancing in the most primitive way. Their information was very backward, because most of the Akhenaut was covered by wind and sand. Once this damn wind and sand hit, no matter how powerful your technology is, you can't let the network cover here. Therefore, the coalition forces can only rely on the city of Hosmatan on the border of Pakistan to obtain external news, and after obtaining the news, they have to manually transmit it to the capital Kabul, and then transmit it from Kabul to the front line. This is also the main reason why Lieutenant General Wilson still let the soldiers advance in a big way after Buld was bombed to the ground. Good evening, everyone. Today we won a great victory in Buld, which is a heavy stroke in the history of mankind's fight against hegemonic aggression. But I believe that this is just the beginning. In order to end the war as soon as possible, from now on, we will fight back with all our strength. So, the families of the invading army, if you don't want your family members to die in a foreign land without even a corpse, let them go home. Dayang Zongheng, don't be fooled. This is just their words and deeds to scare us. Okay, Dayang Zongheng reported, you will be responsible for the families of the invading army who are about to die. Jiang Chen hung up the phone directly after he finished speaking. If he found a scapegoat, everything else would be easy to talk about. In the evening, Jiang Chen summoned the generals of the Sahara Corps and above to come to Malacca City for a meeting. The meeting lasted for 2 hours. After 2 hours, the meeting ended. After the leaders of the various armies of the Sahara Corps returned to their garrisons, they began to mobilize their elite troops to assemble towards Malacca City through the subway. 10 days later, Malacca City assembled nearly 10,000 elite Sahara Corps soldiers. The construction of the Tasker Air Force Base was completed, and nearly 300 fighters were assembled, which were all the fighters in the Sahara region. At the same time, the armored forces also completed the assembly in the town of Mecca. At the end of December, the coalition vanguard Noise Raphael division arrived at the town of Kass. At this moment, the town of Kass had become a ruin, with broken walls everywhere. At noon when the sun was the hottest, the Raphael Corps set up camp next to the ruins. Chapter 815, The Destruction of Raphael's Legion. Raphael Corps is a mixed corps, with more than 100 tanks and more than 50 armored vehicles. Because it is not possible to drive in the desert, artillery never appeared on the battlefield. In addition, because 1,300 coalition fighters were destroyed in Sahara, the coalition did not have new fighters after the winter came. But, in the hottest weather, Sahara fighters took off from Tasker Air Force Base and soon dropped atomic high-explosive aerial bombs after arriving at the town of Kass. After the aerial bomb landed, there was a loud bang, and the tremor of the earth could be felt as far away as Malacca City. Atomic high explosive aerial bombs are super bombs that Jiang Chen invested nearly 100 million yuan and jointly researched with Sahara's top scientists and military firearms experts. This bomb is similar to an atomic bomb, but its power is only 1,000th of that of an atomic bomb. It uses the principle of atomic collision, combined with high explosives, and finally uses the latest steel produced by Sahara Group as a container, and then gathers into a high explosive atomic aerial bomb. Its power is enough to destroy half a city, and even armored vehicles will be vulnerable in front of it. An aerial bomb directly blew up the entire town of Case. After the Rafale core was destroyed, the fighter planes returned. Jiang Chen would not take the initiative to go to Kalb to cause trouble, because although the missiles of the US coalition forces could not be used, they had designed some anti-aircraft guns with extremely high accuracy. These anti-aircraft guns would shoot down Jiang Chen's fighter planes. Once shot down, Jiang Chen's losses would be great. At night, the desert wind blew wildly. The Sahara Corps was stationed everywhere. Just after dawn, a team of more than 500 people suddenly appeared in the Budo Canyon. After the soldiers outside the canyon detected the figures, flashlights soon lit up in the night. Under the illumination of the flashlights, the soldiers found the coalition soldiers sneaking in the night. Da-da-da. There were constant noises around, and after more than a dozen coalition soldiers were killed, they all crawled on the ground and crawled motionless. In the night, a headlight was lit on a high bunker mountain, and the light illuminated the outside of the Budo Canyon. The coalition team was a death squad, full of elites from various countries, whose mission was to sneak into Tasker and destroy the airbase. But now they didn't even dare to raise their heads. James, knock out the lights, Lieutenant Richard said, and the quick shooter James lay on the sand and aimed at the headlights. Bang! After a gunshot, the bullet hit the headlight and rang, and the bullet flew away. It's bulletproof glass. Shit. Bazooka, blow it up. A man who resisted the bazooka quickly stood up on the sand pile. As soon as he stood up, he suddenly fell on his back after a few gunshots. The bazooka fired as he fell, and then fell straight next to him. Boom. Several soldiers lying next to the bazooka soldier were directly blown into meat patties. Go forward, you can't sleep here at night, otherwise you will freeze to death. After Richard said, a group of soldiers began to climb up in the night. When they were more than 30 meters away from the canyon bunker, the soldiers in the bunker had already discovered the invading coalition forces, but they did not shoot. Beep, beep, beep. As soon as the first group of people reached a slope, they suddenly twitched. The others hurriedly tried to pull him up, but it was like the good dolls trying to save their grandfather. Whoever pulled them up would tremble. Don't move, the electric grid, James said, and the others could only watch the 5 soldiers being electrocuted to death. Fuck, these damn turtle-like bastards. They should have sent out tanks to crush them to death. Richard cursed and then crawled on the ground without moving. The people in the bunker were calmer. They were warm in the bunker, but the temperature outside was terrible. Use robots, Richard said, and a soldier put down the robot dog behind him. A small dog with a high explosive bomb on its body ran towards the bunker. The soldiers in the bunker found the robot dog, and a rifle grenade flew out, and with a bang, the robot dog fell to the ground. The robot dog was also made of special steel. It rolled twice, and then got up, and continued to charge. The robot dog quickly ran to the bunker, and then heard a loud bang, and the high explosive bomb on the robot dog exploded. A piece of yellow sand flew up around, and nothing could be seen. Charge, Richard shouted, and the 300 people quickly launched a charge, but what they didn't expect was that after a few rumbling sounds, several bunkers that could be raised and lowered soon appeared around them. The bunker machine guns swept up, and the soldiers who just stood up were shot to death on the ground. Richard hurriedly crawled on the ground again. He looked around and found that he was surrounded by bunkers. This is not good news. Moreover, when the smoke and dust cleared, the bunker that Richard's robot dog had blown up was safe and sound, and they had lost a robot dog for nothing. Surrender. Someone in the bunker shouted in various languages, but no one in the coalition surrendered. In the Budo Canyon, the battlefield calmed down like this. Time passed little by little, and the night fell. The temperature in the winter desert suddenly dropped to more than 30 degrees below zero. In such cold weather, even staying in the bunker makes people shiver, let alone staying in the cold wilderness. The weather was too cold, and Richard couldn't even set up a tent. The people in the bunker didn't come out to kill them, just waiting for them to stand up and shoot them. At 1 o'clock in the morning, many soldiers were frozen unconscious. Richard sent 2 robot dogs to break through, but they were pushed back. At 4 o'clock in the morning, the follow-up rescue team did not come, and the soldiers were almost frozen to death and frostbitten. Finally, some people raised their hands and surrendered. Richard saw that the plan had failed, and it was impossible to resist, so he could only raise his hands and surrender. After dawn in the morning, more than 400 prisoners of war were sent to Malacca City. After hearing about the victory in Buto Canyon, tens of thousands of people came to see the captured prisoners. In Malacca City Hall, Jiang Chen urgently convened a meeting to deal with prisoners of war. Brother Jiang, the old rules, fry them all. Yes, the coalition forces have launched anti-war demonstrations in many places. If we kill these people, there will be more people against the war. After several passionate people finished speaking, Jiang Chen shook his head. Jiang Chen now has different ideas. He feels that the war is about to end. Because this is a war that cannot be fought at all. The United States has advanced equipment, but this is a desert with no signal. As long as Jiang Chen does not take the initiative to attack, when they come here, they can only be beaten by Jiang Chen. Moreover, Jiang Chen cannot fight to the United States, at least not with the current strength. As long as Jiang Chen crosses the desert where he depends on for survival, he will be beaten by the United States coalition forces as soon as he reaches the sea. Therefore, the situation of the war can only be stopped, and then each side will develop its own way. I have an idea. Why don't we sell the prisoners online? Let their families pay war reparations and take their children home. If they do not pay war reparations, the prisoners will be sentenced to war crimes and executed. After Mayor Xiaoma finished speaking, Jiang Chen nodded with great appreciation. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 816. One sentence determines life and death. Once the truce with the United States was reached, Jiang Chen's next task would be heavy. Not only did he have to get his city back to work, he also had to feed tens of millions of new Akanat citizens from Tusk. Most of these people were a burden to him, because they had been devastated by war for many years, and many of them were disabled and unable to work. Therefore, Jiang Chen had to find a way to raise money to feed them. Just do as Xiaoma said, take photos of all the 400 soldiers and post them on YouTube and Facebook. Collect money according to official positions, 1 million yuan for the lowest level soldiers, and 3 million yuan for non-commissioned officers, and transfer the money through RIA to bank within a week. If the money is paid, they will be released, and if the money is not paid, they will be fried alive. Jiang Chen finished speaking and adjourned the meeting. After the meeting, in order to further undermine the morale of the coalition forces, Jiang Chen started a live broadcast again. The prisoner of war camp. It was the first time that Jiang Chen broadcast live in such a place. Hello everyone, I'm Jiang Chen who loves farming. Let's see what I have brought to you today, Jiang Chen said, and then pointed the camera at the prisoners in the cage. Those prisoners were just tied up in the prison, and they were not beaten too much. Big stupid pig, a group of foreigners? These are colorful deer, they are not the traitors who were caught. Little monkey, it shouldn't be. The recognition system in the Sahara region is very powerful. As long as it is a stranger, it can be recognized at once. It has been so long, it should not be a traitor. American Freedom News, please release these innocent people as soon as possible. Jiang Chen laughed when he talked about innocence. If they are innocent, then there are no innocent people in this world. Let me introduce them. These are the coalition forces that attempted to blow up my airbase. Each of these coalition forces has the blood of the Sahara people on their hands. It is them. They traveled thousands of miles to Sahara to kill people. You say they are innocent? I really hope that you will be reincarnated as ghosts under his knife in the next life. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, American Freedom News and others started to comment crazily again. US Freedom News, what reasons do you have to prove that he is a member of the coalition? What if he is a former American who immigrated to your place? Button Times, with your desert people's ability, can you capture the coalition alive? You are just a group of rats in a hole. These must be the American residents you kidnapped. Release them quickly. After a few newspapers finished speaking, Jiang Chen turned the camera around. I hope that the Button Times and the Liberty Press will follow up and report on them in time. You will soon know whether they are the rat-like coalition forces or the people of Sahara. Okay, I won't talk nonsense with you media. Now I will film each of them for you to see. Those people in front of the camera, as long as there are your neighbors or family members, please contact 1527, this number immediately. I advise the media not to call this number, because you will delay other people's lives. All the families of the invading army, within 1 week, transfer money to the router bank card I provided according to their military ranks. If you transfer the money, I will release them, and I guarantee that they can safely board the plane from China to the United States. Within a week, I don't see the money, and these people will all be put into the oil pan, and I will broadcast it live. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, many anti-Sahara media started to spread the news again. Button Express, shit, what are you doing? Are you going to kill innocent people? Big Eagle Daily, the whole world unites to eliminate this inhumane killer. Cold Tide Morning News, we will continue to send troops to eliminate this kind of. Seeing the news of the Cold Tide Morning News, Jiang Chen walked over and grabbed a Cold Tide soldier by the hair. After being picked up, the Cold Tide soldier kept begging for mercy. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Tell the Cold Tide Morning News, who are you? Which unit are you from? What are you doing here? After Jiang Chen yelled, the soldier was already scared out of his wits. In fact, the coalition forces were not as strong as Jiang Chen thought. In these battles, the coalition forces killed some Akanishi people and never defeated the Sahara army. On the contrary, the Sahara army used various black weapons to make the organized corps disappear in the desert. So many people in the coalition were afraid of Jiang Chen. They thought of Jiang Chen as a devil from hell. I'm Park Jing-heo of the 1st Guard of the Cold Tide country. I was sent to eliminate Sahara. I have surrendered. President, give them money to send me away. You can't win at all. More than 1,000 fighter planes have been shot down, and we don't have a single fighter plane to cover us. Several divisions have disappeared as a whole, and tens of thousands of people's bodies cannot be found. You can't win. Don't let your brothers die. After Park Jing-heo finished speaking, Jiang Chen pulled out a gun and pointed it at his head. Park Jing-heo knelt on the ground and urinated all over the floor. No, I'm Park Jing-heo from Jiangyuan Road, from Park Jia village. Mom, save me, give them 1 million, I want to live. Park Jing-heo cried and begged for mercy. Jiang Chen pointed at him and shouted, morning news of the Cold Tide country, his life is in your hands. If you say today that the Cold Tide country will lose, I will let him go for free. If you say you will send troops again, I will shoot him immediately. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, the barrage in the live broadcast room stopped instantly. Everyone is waiting for the vote of the Hanxiao National Morning News, because this is about the life and death of a person. Morning News, save me, you said that Hanxiao will lose. Tell me quickly, I was sent here by you damn media. If you hadn't said that Sahara looked like a grasshopper, we wouldn't have sent troops. It's all you. Park Jing-heo cried and said, his tears were already flowing like beads with a broken string. Hanxiao National Morning News, evil will eventually be eliminated. Dahan will send troops. Bang, a gunshot sounded, and the tearful Hanxiao soldier fell to the ground in despair. Hanxiao National Morning News, you successfully killed a Hanxiao National. Park Jing-heo's family, after you receive the news of Park Jing-heo's death, please go directly to Hanxiao National Morning News. It will be responsible for Park Jing-heo throughout the process. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he turned the camera to other people, and soon a soldier was recognized. Michelle, oh my god, Jess, is that you, Jess? Seeing someone reply, Jiang Chen stopped. He looked at the tall foreigner, who couldn't help but take a few steps back. Jiang Chen was a devil to them, and now he fell into the hands of the devil. One can imagine what would happen. Are you Jess? Yes, I'm Jess. Jess from the US Marine Corps. Yes, he is Jess. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and Michelle replied quickly. Oh my god, you are really captured. What should I do? Michelle finished sending, and Jiang Chen took the video. Don't worry, you should be grateful that he was captured, so that at least he is still alive. Otherwise he would die in the desert without even a trace left. Michelle, how can I save him? It's very simple. $1 million US. Raise it in a week, and then transfer it to our account in Ritter Bank. I promise everyone that all the invasion expenses will be used to help the Afghan people rebuild their homes. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and continued to take pictures of other soldiers. Chapter 817. Sea Dog Special Forces. 2 hours later, Jiang Chen turned off the live broadcast. He knew that the US and other coalition forces must be very upset at this moment, but Jiang Chen didn't have time to care about them. At the Sahara Second Military University, a group of people were studying several robots that had been captured. This should be a castrated version. Look, the automatic aiming device here has been dismantled. Almost all the technology and remote control have been dismantled. If it is not dismantled, such a dog will join the army in the street fighting, and we will not be able to resist it, no matter how strong our firepower is. A military expert said, and another military expert nodded. And this blasting dog, it can be as flexible as a real dog, and the bombs loaded on it can blow up the entire village. This mine clearing robot is not bad, but it's a pity that it has been dismantled. And this mole, the mole can advance in the yellow sand, and then explode when it approaches a target. There is a bunker in Arbudo Canyon that was blown up by this mole. A group of experts studied the various advanced machines and equipment brought by Richard's Special Forces, and Jiang Chen was amazed. These machines joining the battle are the biggest blow to the enemy, especially if this kind of mechanical troops attack the city. Their ability to drill through buildings and blow up bunkers is simply amazing. We really have to thank the gift of the desert. If it weren't for the desert, we wouldn't be able to withstand the attack of the coalition's various advanced equipment. Jiang Chen finished speaking, and more than a dozen military experts nodded. Yes, they are much better than us in weapons. Well, don't belittle yourself. Haven't we also developed atomic high explosive hybrid bombs? You Second Military University should stop all research now, and focus on conquering this kind of robot dog equipment. I want this high performance war weapon to be put into production in half a year. These things will be the biggest guarantee for us to reduce casualties. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, the scientists of the military university collectively saluted Jiang Chen, guarantee to complete the task. After leaving the Second Military University, Jiang Chen returned to Malacca. He now spends most of his time on the front line of Malacca's battle. This is his promise to the people of Malacca Khan. At the Malacca Sahara International Hotel, Jiang Chen lay on the sofa and clicked on the news. Sure enough, after nearly half a day of fermentation, the coalition countries were in chaos at this moment. China Street Daily, dozens of families of captured Sea Dog Special Forces asked Bugeopu to pay ransom to exchange their families. Bugeopu said that he would not pay compensation and they would not bow to the Dark Forces. Since several unbelieving reporters of China Street Daily were brutally killed by the coalition forces, China Street Daily has gradually moved to the opposite side of the coalition forces. Button times, the Sahara rebels attacked the coalition camp by illegal means, and the coalition forces were forced to surrender. According to international conventions, the Sahara rebels cannot kill surrendered soldiers. Panda Daily, the Sahara region is a regime that the United States does not recognize. Is it necessary for such an unrecognized regime to be restricted by international conventions? Great Eagle Empire News. The Great Eagle Empire will not spend money to buy prisoners. The Great Eagle Empire requires the Sahara region to release prisoners immediately, otherwise it will launch a large-scale attack on the Sahara region. Cold Tide Country News. The Cold Tide Country will continue to increase its troops. Turkish Morning News. Turkish will not save prisoners, and we will not bow to evil. A group of media issued a statement, and Jiang Chen sighed. Jiang Chen, who loves farming, I will tell those special forces about your country's decision. Thank you for being cruel to them. Jiang Chen went directly to Malacca prison after he finished speaking. After arriving at Malacca prison, Jiang Chen gathered all the Sea Dog special forces together. Hello, Allied forces. Today I have to tell you a very unfortunate news. Your country has given up on you. They will not pay the war invasion fee for you. This means that, if your family does not have 1 million yuan, you will all be boiled in oil in 6 days. Jiang Chen also showed them the press conferences of various governments. After watching the press conference, many Sea Dog special forces burst into tears. They cried, not only because they were about to die, but also because their faith in their motherland collapsed. I'm sorry, you should know that I will not give up any of my citizens. I'm willing to fight a war of annihilation for my citizens. However, your motherland has abandoned you. They took you to the desert, and you have never even seen what the land you are going to capture looks like. Jiang Chen really felt sorry for them. Can we see what Sahara is like? They say you are evil and your people are living in dire straits. We want to see it with our own eyes. After the Sea Dog Special Forces Captain Richard finished speaking, all the Special Forces members looked at Jiang Chen. They knew that this wish was a luxury, but they never expected that Jiang Chen agreed. Okay, I want you to die with your eyes closed. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, several big men revealed complicated expressions. Let's go. I'll take you to see it now. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he arranged several buses to send all the prisoners of war to Kari City. The moment the bus drove into Kari City, all the Sea Dog Special Forces members stuck their heads out like little sparrows. Is the city of Kari ahead? They say that Kari is the hell of the people of the Akhonet. The people of the Akhonet are forced to work here for 22 hours a day. It's Kari. Kari is Sahara's territory. It's a nightmare for children. How many children have had their hearts dug out just to be enjoyed by Sahara's top leaders? Oh my god, I can't face such a place. A group of Sea Dog Marines were talking, and the bus had already entered the high-rise city of Kari. As soon as they entered Kari, the temperature in the evening quickly dropped. The bus stopped on the road, and a group of people looked around curiously. Why did you stop? When a group of soldiers asked each other, the soldiers in front received the news. You can let them get off the bus to visit. Speaking of getting off the bus to visit, a group of soldiers with handcuffs and leg shackles hurriedly stood up. The bus stopped in front of Chengxi Middle School in Kari City. When the soldiers walked to the door, the gate of Chengxi Middle School had been opened. Although the war had begun, it did not affect the teaching tasks of Chengxi Middle School at all. You are welcome to visit at will. Jiang Chen did not follow them. He believed that the Sea Dog Special Forces would not harm those poor children. With a creak, the door of a classroom opened, and an Akhonish teacher was explaining the splendid and long-standing culture of the Akhonish state in Akhonish language. A Special Forces soldier who knew Akhonish language was stunned when he saw the words on the blackboard. You are the damn coalition forces. Get out. When the thin teacher who had lost a leg recognized the Sea Dog Special Forces, he became excited instantly. When the more than 40 Akhonish children in the class heard that they were the coalition forces, they stood up instantly. Although these children were short, their stubborn eyes were very scary. Get out, damn coalition forces, you bombed our homes and chased us to kill us. Get out. Let's go. The world is so big, only here can there be a desk left for the Akhonish people. After the principal finished speaking, he shook his head in disappointment at the group of people. Chapter 880 New Bunch of Demons. The soldiers got on the car, and as night fell, they stared at the neon lights outside the window in a daze. They had seen many such clean and beautiful cities, but at this moment they had a different state of mind. At the East City factory, after the car stopped, a group of soldiers entered the factory gate under the escort of the guards. As soon as they entered the factory gate, a man in tattered clothes was being held down and dragged to the door by several big men. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Let me go back. Let me go back. What are you doing? Let him go, you bunch of demons. Richard pushed the guards aside and rushed over. He never lacked a sense of justice, and it was this sense of justice that made him willing to risk his life to attack the airport. Let me go back. Let me go back. The Ahan on the ground was still struggling. Jiang Chen walked over, and several security guards hurriedly let go of the Ahan. Hello, brother Jiang. What's going on? The moment the Ahan was let go, the old man limped towards the workshop again. Brother Jiang, he needs to rest. You bunch of demons, what do you want to do to him? Kill him and let him rest completely? Richard was about to rush over to hit the security guard, but several guards grabbed him. What's going on? Jiang Chen said with a frown. The security guard sighed and said, Brother Jiang, he has been working for 25 hours in a row. He heard that this batch of cotton padded clothes was for the refugees from the Akhenaten in the south, so he worked overtime like crazy and didn't want to rest. After the security guard finished speaking, Richard, who was struggling, stopped struggling. Why don't you rest? He wanted to make a cotton padded clothes for his daughter in the south. He said that his daughter liked to wear his cotton padded clothes the most, but his daughter was killed by a US plane on the way back from escaping. After the security guard finished speaking, Jiang Chen clenched his fists. Walking into the factory, Jiang Chen saw the old man from the Akhenaten at a glance. His hair was white and his forehead was covered with wrinkles. Don't be afraid, Nasha, we have a cotton padded jacket. We have a cotton padded jacket. Dad will make this one, and the leader will have someone take it to the south. We won't be cold this year. Don't do it. Nasha is dead. She died on the way. The security guard roared, and he wiped his eyes and cried. The needle in the old man's hand fell to the ground. He hurried to pick it up. His broken leg had no strength, and he fell to the ground with a plop. The workers next to him hurried to help him up, but he couldn't get up. He was like a puddle of mud, but his hands were still tightly holding the flowered cotton jacket. He thought Nasha would be warm and beautiful in it. In the factory, everyone stopped their work, and they all wailed and cried. Why? Why? We have already run home. Why is he still dead? A worker hugged the dead Akharian and hit his head. He hated this world. Jiang Chen raised his head, trying not to let his tears fall. Such tragedies happen every day. He thought he could be numb, but on the bus, the special forces of the Sea Dog Marine Corps didn't know how to get on the bus. They were confused and began to think about the meaning of launching this war. I will kill you all when you come back from Future City. Jiang Chen's voice rang out in the car. This time no one stood up to resist, because they knew that they were sinners. They committed war crimes against humanity in the Akhenaten. They made countless Akhenaten people lose their homes and relatives. They don't deserve to live in this world. The car arrived at the subway station. More than 300 people took the lightning-fast subway for the first time. Before they died, they were curious about everything and thought everything was beautiful. Sac City, the prosperity here far exceeded their imagination. For the first time, they felt that they had come to a prosperous place that did not belong to the earth. Only the endless surgeries of the Akhenaten people on the operating table of Salmon Hospital could bring them back to the world. In the Future City, the towering skyscrapers are so tall that even Manhattan cannot catch up. The tourist markets that could have been very attractive are all closed. If they were not closed, the bustling streets would definitely be the most beautiful scenery in the world. After returning from the Future City, all the Sea Dog Special Forces cried. They knew the beauty of this world. They knew that their country was trying to destroy it with their own hands, and they became their accomplices. They felt that this was simply unforgivable. I want to see the leader. I want to see the leader. I want to stop the coalition forces. They are simply committing a crime. Near Malacca, Richard finally made a decision. He was not afraid of death, but he was afraid that his death would be worthless. At 12 o'clock in the evening, at the press conference in Malacca City, Richard stepped onto the podium for the first time without handcuffs. Hello everyone, I'm Captain Richard of the Sea Dog Special Forces. Let's call me that for now, because after I was captured, they promoted me to comfort my family. But here, I want to say that I will not die. You always ask me to be loyal to the United States and the Army. But today I finally understand that what I want to be loyal to is justice. Real justice. So, I hope that those who have not been fooled by Bugop will donate to me and to the people behind me who have been abandoned by him. We want to survive. We want to devote ourselves to the new anti-war struggle, and we want to let the world know that Sahara is just. They are the ones who really helped the Afghan Empire, and the coalition forces are all bad guys. They have never really helped the Afghans, and they have become the nightmare of the Afghans. After Richard finished speaking, several reporters asked questions. Button times. You have betrayed your motherland in this way. You will be judged by free people. No, it was the coalition forces that betrayed the people. They are the executioners. I think if you come to Sahara to interview the people of the Khanate in person, you will know how stupid what you said today is. Great Eagle Empire News. Did they force you to surrender, or are you afraid of death? You are a group of deserters. You will be punished if you come back. Have you thought it through? Go back. Why should I go back? The United States has declined. They will be dragged down by the war here. Sahara is the future of mankind. After Richard finished speaking, another media started to angrily attack. Cold Tide National Morning News. You are a coward. The people of the United States will not be fooled by you. We will attack as always. We will definitely eliminate the anti-human Sahara region. You are anti-human. And you damn newspaper, you deserve to kill Park Jin-hyo. Do you know how much he wants to live? Do you know how much his wife who just got married and gave birth to a baby wants him to live? It was you. You killed him with your own hands, just for your hypocritical national self-confidence. After Richard finished speaking, the Cold Tide National Morning News started to attack again. Morning Post of Cold Tide Country. Sahara is the enemy of all mankind. If there were no Sahara, our country's Xinjiang Group, Devour Automobile Group, TV stations, and entertainment companies would not have closed down. Now Sahara has hollowed out our fashion designers and the backbones of the plastic surgery and beauty industries. It is he who has caused the people of Cold Tide Country to lose their jobs. It is also he who has turned the people of Cold Tide Country from being rich into the country with the worst economy in East Asia. Why don't you ask your Choi Sung-ho? Why don't you send the murderer to court? You are the one who caused your own loneliness. Who do you blame? Chapter 819 Public Opinion Bombardment. When Richard was arguing with the Frost-Tide State Morning Post, he was soon reminded that the time was up. Jiang Chen gave everyone a fixed 10 minutes, and their lives depended on it. Okay, that's it for today. The coalition forces have given up on us, and the soldiers who braved the cold and heat to fight for them. I hope our people will not forget us, and I hope my family will stand up and give everyone a fundraising account so that everyone can donate to save me. Don't worry, all the money will be used for the reconstruction of the Khanate, and they won't use it for a single cent in the damn war. After Richard went down, James took the podium. Oh, shit, look at what the coalition did. They gave up on us and his people, and Sahara will not give up on his people, even if the whole country is destroyed. Oh, shit. I have to say, folks, hurry up and immigrate to Sahara. You know, the coalition will soon anger the Rosa and China. I believe it won't be long before the desert group countries will collectively stand up to fight the United States, and then the United States will fall like the Frost-Tide Country. After James finished speaking, more media started to scold him, but Jiang Chen no longer cared about this issue. The next morning, a large-scale demonstration took place across the United States. The people were very dissatisfied with the sacrifice of more than 700 people in the United States. At the same time, the people who marched demanded that the government pay the invasion fee to rescue James and others. The demonstration lasted for a whole day, and the United States dispatched a large number of police to maintain public order. The crowd did not disperse until night. At night, the coalition held an emergency meeting. Because the impact of the Richard incident was too bad, we must end this war. Every day, a large number of our soldiers are killed or wounded. Every day, we have to spend a lot of money on the war supplies of the Khanate. It's time to end this damn war. After the Prime Minister of the Great Eagle country finished speaking, the President of Turkey, who had always been firm, also frowned. They used atomic bombs. This is simply a foul. We must fight back. I agree to use atomic bombs to completely wipe out Sahara from the earth. Otherwise, if this war continues, it will only waste our national strength and people's hearts in vain. I'm afraid no one will support me anymore. Media polls show that my approval rating has dropped to 10%. I will definitely not be the president next time. After the Australian president finished speaking, Bugop sat in a chair and kept thinking. President, I just received news that the German secret military base was bombed. Our oil depot was bombed, and more than 4,000 soldiers died. Please make your decision. After the Secretary of State finished speaking, Bugop's face showed an incredible look. How did they do it? Special aerial bombs, once dropped, are like atomic bombs, and there is no way to escape. I think it's time to start an atomic war. After the Secretary of State finished speaking, Bugeopu thought for a while and nodded. They use nuclear weapons in violation of the rules, and we must fight back. After Bugeopu finished speaking, Prime Minister Dawang nodded and said, it's time to launch a nuclear strike on them. Let's vote. Soon a group of people voted, and 11 countries unanimously passed the proposal to launch a nuclear strike on the Sahara region. At the end of December, Bugeopu gave a speech in the United States. At this moment, with the withdrawal of countries such as China and Russia, the United States has become Bugeopu's own United States. Bugeopu made a statement about the threat of Sahara to the world, so the United States proposed to launch a nuclear strike on the Sahara region. The proposal was quickly passed. After the proposal was passed, the United States announced the plan to launch a nuclear strike on the Sahara region and warned the people in the Sahara region to evacuate the Sahara region as soon as possible. After the United States spoke, it soon caused dissatisfaction among the countries surrounding the desert. Pakistan was the first to issue a statement condemning the United States' actions. The desert itself is fragile. You don't protect it, but come all the way to persecute it. This is the greatest harm to the desert country. Then the Rosa country pointed out that, if the United States dared to carry out nuclear destruction in the desert, they would be willing to fight the Third World War. China also made condemnations and protests. Not only that, but even many European countries have announced resolutions condemning the United States' nuclear strikes on the Sahara region. However, this group of people doesn't care. One Rosa country and China are enough to give them a headache. Now there is another Sahara region, then the status of countries such as the United States can't really be saved. Therefore, the budding Sahara region must be eliminated now. In early January, the United States began to approve the United States to carry out this nuclear strike mission. After receiving the United States approval, the United States began to carry out the task of atomic bomb nuclear strikes on the Sahara region. Sahara region, Malacca City. After watching the United States speech, Jiang Chen couldn't calm down for a long time. What is coming will eventually come. Jiang Chen sighed and snuffed out the cigarette in his hand. Evacuate all the people in Kari City to future West City, and evacuate all the children in Malacca to future West City. In the evening, Jiang Chen made a phone call. After the order was issued, the mayor of Malacca City, Xiaomar, cried while holding the phone. Brother Jiang, we can't abandon the people of Malacca. Obey the order. The Sahara region can't take care of so many people from the Akhanate. We can only save their future, and the others can only stay. Brother Jiang, save them. Malacca City has just developed, and the people are innocent. Jiang Chen didn't say anything. He could only hang up the phone helplessly. There are more than 10 million people in Malacca City, plus tens of millions of people in Tasker and Lamaran. These three places almost gather the people of the entire Akhanate. 20 million people, no jobs, nothing. In the Sahara region, which has already lost its vitality and economy due to the war, this is simply an unrealistic rescue plan. So, Jiang Chen can only choose to give up. In the early morning, Jiang Chen started a live broadcast. This time he chose to broadcast live to the world. At the moment of the live broadcast, nearly 1.3 billion people flooded into Jiang Chen's live broadcast room. China Street Daily, the United States will implement a nuclear strike policy in half a month. Do you have the desire to surrender? Button times. It is time to destroy the Sahara region. This is a scar on the human body. Only by destroying it can human beings develop healthily. China News, we condemn this behavior. This is an anti-human behavior. We call on the United States to remain calm. For the lives of hundreds of millions of people, you should not be the executioner. I will not surrender. I will choose to live and die with Sahara. After the nuclear strike, if I'm not dead, I think, Americans, please remember the fear of being hit by a nuclear strike. Cold Wave Morning News. No one can survive a nuclear strike by the United States. Turkish International News. You will be nailed to the pillar of shame of mankind. It is because of your willful behavior that hundreds of millions of people in Sahara died. Jiang Chen was too lazy to respond to the public opinion bombardment of these newspapers. Chapter 820 Nuclear Strike. People of Sahara, we have reached the most difficult period. Now I declare that all the people of Kari City will evacuate to Sahara West City. People of Taska, Lamaran, and Malacca, I'm sorry that I no longer have the ability to protect you. However, I will do my best to raise your children, give your children a future, and pass on your culture and hope. I declare that from now on, children under the age of 14 can be sent to Sahara West City for free, and the government will support them for free until they are 22 years old. In addition, in the future, West City will be renamed Ahan City, and Ahan City will adopt a two-language model in which Ahan language and spoken language coexist. From now on, everyone start to act. Put the children on the street. Our car will come to pick them up, and the adults can just stay at home. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he raised his head. He didn't want to let his tears flow. Okay, that's all for today, America. I'll remember you. Finally, I'll say one more thing. If the people of the Akhana don't die, they will definitely be your gravediggers. After the live broadcast, Jiang Chen opened the surveillance of all the streets in the 3 cities of Malacca, Lamaran, and Tusk on Sahara Live. At this moment, as long as you click on Sahara Live or Facebook and YouTube, you can see scenes that make people collapse. On the streets of Malacca, parents hugged their children and cried bitterly on the street. Some people jumped from high-rise buildings because they couldn't bear to be separated from their flesh and blood, and the ground was covered with bloody bodies. The tragedy will never end until trucks come, and the people on the trucks wipe their tears and snatch children from the parents. The moment the children got on the car was surrounded by people. After the car left, many people collapsed and fell to the ground. Many people ran after the car, and the security police scolded them. Such scenes were played out in 3 cities at the same time, crying countless people around the world. It took 20 days, a full 20 days, for more than 5 million children to be evacuated to Ahan City. Although Jiang Chen didn't know whether the sand shield could withstand the attack of nuclear weapons. But the existence of the sand shield is better than looking up and being bombed. At the end of January, the Chinese New Year is coming soon, and no one is in the mood to celebrate this new year. After a long wait of more than 30 days, the US fighter planes finally came. It is not easy to drop a nuclear bomb. Originally, the US coalition forces wanted to use missiles carrying nuclear warheads to attack the Sahara region. However, once the missile enters the desert area, it will lose the signal, so launching a nuclear bomb from the south will definitely not work. The only way is to launch a nuclear bomb from China, but China will definitely not allow them to do so. After the missile method failed, the United States immediately formulated a method of using airplanes to carry atomic bombs to imitate the attack on Japan that year. And this is still the only way. However, it is extremely dangerous to use airplanes to carry nuclear bombs. First of all, in the desert area, the Kari City Air Force often roams over the Sahara area. Once they discover the US fighter planes, they will definitely fight them to the death in the sky. If the nuclear bombs cannot explode in the Sahara city at that time, their use will fail. In addition, they have not yet found the reason why more than 1,000 coalition fighter planes fell outside the Sahara city, so they cannot guarantee that the planes can safely cross the Kani Mountains. So after more than a month of discussion, they finally formulated a nuclear attack plan. In the evening, when the desert cooled down, planes flew to the town of Case. After a bombing, thousands of armored troops crushed the town of Case. After crossing the town of Case, the armored forces of the coalition arrived at the Budo Canyon. At this moment, the Sahara Corps in the Budo Canyon had evacuated. After the Sahara Corps evacuated, the bunkers in the Budo Canyon were replaced by the Akhanate Freedom Army, who fought to the death. The Free Army fought a desperate battle with the coalition forces, relying on the bunkers. After hundreds of coalition planes flew in the sky, the reorganized Kari City Air Force regrouped and launched the Budo Canyon air battle. The air battle lasted for 2 hours and finally ended after the Kari City Air Force lost 30 fighters. However, the coalition Air Force also lost more than 20 fighters. After the air battle, the coalition armored forces launched an attack on the canyon. The attack was fierce. The armored forces quickly crushed the bunkers one by one with hard armor, and then used high explosive grenades to kill the people in the bunkers. After seizing the bunkers at the mouth of the Budo Canyon, the coalition forces advanced all the way to the canyon. When they arrived at the center of the canyon, they were blocked by a series of broken trees. The coalition forces began to blow up the broken trees with bombs, and the Free Army in the broken trees launched a counterattack. The coalition forces sacrificed more than 100 people to capture those canyon bunkers. Late at night, when the coalition blew up the tree bunkers, the tanks and armored vehicles continued to move towards Tasker. The main task of this unit is to defeat Tasker and then use it as a springboard to take down the missile base in Malacca. After destroying the missile base, they can send planes carrying nuclear warheads to bomb Kari City and other cities in Sahara. Before dawn, when thousands of coalition troops were waiting for dawn in the canyon, there was a sudden loud bang, and the whole canyon turned into a sea of fire. The huge explosion made the entire desert tremble, and the tremor could even be felt by the people of the Akhenaten far away in Latin America. After the explosion dissipated, the vanguard of the coalition forces all went to see the King of Hell. When Cotton Taylor's corps arrived at the Budo Grand Canyon, they couldn't even find the parts of the armored vehicles. After the Battle of Budo Canyon, Jiang Chen uploaded the photos he took to Facebook and YouTube. Countries around the world have once again launched a round of demonstrations, especially in the coalition countries. Their soldiers suffered more and more casualties, which made their own people very resistant. At the end of January, Kabzai, the president of the Akhenaten supported by the United States, announced that the Akhenaten would withdraw from the coalition. They would not support others using nuclear bombs to kill their own people. As soon as Kabzai made his announcement, the US coalition arrested him. In early February, hundreds of thousands of people in the southern Akhenaten took to the streets, calling on the US coalition to release Kabzai. As soon as the citizens took to the streets, they were suppressed by the military and police. Then Lieutenant General Wilson announced that Kabzai had committed war crimes. 3 days later, Kabzai was sent to the gallows by Wilson. At this moment, the Akhenaten soldiers serving in the coalition heard that Abuzai had been executed, and they rebelled in the army. A civil war began, and it took the coalition a whole month to quell the war. The remaining Akhenaten people were also cleansed in blood. Some surviving people took pictures of the purge and secretly sent them to the Sahara region. After the Sahara region made the video public, the United States soon received a large number of withdrawal statements from countries. In February, the Chinese New Year arrived, and the coalition advanced to Latin America. The Latin America Freedom Army resisted, and Jiang Chen provided weapons to the 130,000 Latin America Freedom Army, and men, women, and children all went to the battlefield. The coalition forces deployed more than 30,000 troops to attack the city of Lamoran. The battle lasted for a whole week. Due to the harsh environment and lack of water, the coalition forces retreated. In March, coalition aircraft bombed Lamoran again. 200 Air Force aircraft assisted by Sahara Airlines arrived in Kari City. The fighter planes took off and launched a decisive battle with the coalition forces in Lamoran. At the same time, the major military academies and flight academies in Kari City provided 48 hours of uninterrupted training for the Free Army. Chapter 821, Eternal Day arrives. The Akhenats, who were originally just ordinary people, have become somewhat qualified fighters after a short period of intensive training. Although they are no match for the special forces of the coalition cannot bear to use human wave tactics to fill their lives. At the end of February, Omara, the leader of the Northern Akhenaten, issued a declaration entitled Genocide War in Malacca City. Jiang Chen asked Sahaliv, Facebook and YouTube to broadcast the entire process live. With the participation of these 3 websites, now both the coalition countries and other countries can watch the live broadcast in full. Hello everyone, I'm the new president of the Akhenaten government. The US coalition forces supported by the United States have been wreaking havoc in my country for many years. They say that we have weapons of mass destruction here, but they have not found them for so many years, and they have not withdrawn their troops. They ruthlessly exploited oil and copper on our land. Until the desert came, they did not think about managing the desert for us. They only focused on mining the last barrel of oil and then withdrawing. They left, and now that they see that the Sahara region has the technology to resist the desert, they are coming again. They have only one purpose in attacking the Sahara region, that is, to obtain the technology to manage the desert in the Sahara region. What is the difference between this behavior and robbery? In addition, the United States and its running dogs, the heinous crimes you have committed in the Akhanik will not make us exterminate. From now on, those who cannot defeat us will eventually make us stand up. Therefore, I declare that from now on, the Akhanik state will implement a war of extinction. We will destroy tens of millions of Akhanik people and fight the US coalition forces to the death. I call on those Afghans in the United States and other aggressor countries to stand up and kill the United States and its running dogs for the sake of the motherland and the nation. After Omara's appeal, tens of millions of Afghans were excited after seeing the appeal of the new leader Omara. A war to wipe out the whole family. Not asking for one person to live, just asking for the American running dogs who invaded us to go to hell. Fight to the last man. 3 hours after the declaration was issued, an explosion occurred in a shopping mall in Meicheng, the United States, and hundreds of people died in the mall. Immediately afterwards, explosions and shootings occurred in various places, and the United States was in turmoil again. At the same time, American people also took to the streets, demanding an end to this damn war, and Bugop was simply playing with their lives. However, the coalition forces still had no intention of stopping. In early March, the United States coalition forces gathered various mechanical forces to attack Tusk. Tanks, armored vehicles, and mechanical dogs were all put to use. In order to fight this war, the coalition forces have sacrificed nearly 12,000 people and invested nearly $100 billion. In March, the weak winter storm had dissipated in Tusk. The people of Tusk relied on the houses built with the support of Jiang Chen to put up a desperate resistance against the coalition forces. In addition, the Sahara military industry group also deployed its first batch of mechanical combat troops to join the Tusk battlefield. In the early morning, fighter jets took off from the Kalb airport, and their target was directly aimed at the city of Tusk. At the same time, hundreds of fighter jets in Kari City also flew into the sky. The two sides met and fought over Tusk, and the coalition forces quickly advanced into the city with armor and mechanical soldiers. The fortresses in the city were blown up by mechanical dogs, and houses were captured by mechanical soldiers. The soldiers of Tusk could only retreat one after another. The battle lasted for a day. When the cold night came, the coalition forces advanced half of the city. At night, Kalb's fighter planes returned, and a bomber arrived in Tusk under the escort of several fighter jets. Boom. After an aerial bomb flew down from the sky, several more aerial bombs fell, and most of Tusk became a ruin. More than 1,000 coalition troops that entered Tusk, along with armored vehicles and mechanical soldiers, were all blown to slag. At the coalition headquarters, Lieutenant General Wilson was very angry after receiving the news that the Tusk coalition had been blown up. For every person who died, his country would have one more team on parade. So, how could he explain to the United States that thousands of people had died? Late at night, Wilson asked the headquarters to launch a nuclear bombing plan to directly destroy Tusk with nuclear weapons. After several hours of discussion, Bugop agreed to the nuclear strike plan against Tusk. Late at night, several fighter planes flew near Tusk and were detected by Tusk's radar. Tusk's hidden missiles fired missiles at the flying fighter planes, and the missiles hit the enemy planes over Tusk. After a loud bang, the enemy planes and nuclear bombs exploded at the same time. Late at night, people far away in Latin America felt the arrival of the earthquake. The houses kept shaking, cracks appeared in the ground, and then the yellow sand surged like waves, instantly burying the houses. If the Latin American dragon is like this, let alone the city of Tusk under the nuclear bomb. A loud bang was heard, and the sleepless people of Tusk seemed to feel that the day had come in an instant. Then a flash of white light appeared, and the entire city of Tusk was gone. Late at night, the entire Malacca command was shocked. They never expected that the US coalition would really be so unscrupulous. Brother Jiang, they use nuclear weapons. What should we do? The Sahara region has been established for 7 years. In these 7 years, Sahara has developed rapidly, but it has never developed nuclear weapons. Therefore, it is impossible to fight back against the United States at this moment. Upload the video to the internet. I will hold a press conference immediately. The only thing Jiang Chen can do is to ask for help from the international community, because nuclear weapons are simply unstoppable. An hour later, in the Future City Global Conference Room, Jiang Chen connected to nearly 200 media around the world. Hello everyone, I'm Jiang Chen, the head of the Sahara region. Here I will play a video for everyone. I would like to ask the United States, what do you represent? After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he played the video clips he had sorted out in public. In the video, a flash of white light was followed by something like a rushing moon surge that directly destroyed the entire city. People, buildings, and cars in the city were engulfed in an instant. Button times. This is a nuclear strike. This is the best strike against evil people. China Daily. May I ask button times, where exactly did the people of Akhenaten commit evil? You have been destroyed by nuclear weapons on the land where you have lived for generations. Who is the real evil person? Pacific Morning Post. Nuclear strikes should be prohibited at any time. Otherwise, nuclear weapons will definitely destroy our own homes. Big Eagle News. Oh, I can't believe that the coalition forces actually use nuclear weapons next to Russia and China. Is the Third World War really going to start? Cold Tide Alliance News. It's really refreshing. Nuclear weapons should be used to end the evil Sahara region. Chapter 822. Empty City Attack. Global Times. The environment in the desert area is already very bad. If a nuclear strike is carried out there, I really can't imagine when the countries next to the desert will be submerged. Northern News. Let's do it. The Third World War will start. They want us to die, and we will die to kill these scums on the earth. After a group of people clamored, the United States soon spoke out. The United States, you need to give an explanation to the Khanate. It was your refusal to surrender that led to the demise of the Khanate. Blame me? Haha, those countries that are still in the United States, is such an organization worth following? I won't say anything. If you think nuclear weapons can destroy me, but I also tell you that the desert era is coming. Nuclear weapons can destroy me, but the desert can destroy all of you. Jiang Chen turned off the live broadcast after he finished speaking. He only needed to tell all countries that the United States use nuclear weapons, and that was enough. In the early morning, the US company plane set off again, and this time they dropped nuclear bombs on Lamoran. After a loud bang, Lamoran became a ruin, and millions of people died in this nuclear war. Jiang Chen collected all the videos. When the signal of Lamoran was disconnected, Jiang Chen knew that the world had gone crazy. Retreat. Everyone in Malacca, retreat to Kari City. Jiang Chen gave the last order. At this moment, the people of Kari City had already moved to Ahan City, and Kari City had become an empty city. During the day, the coalition planes did not take off. The strong winds in the desert blew up, and the sand and dust submerged the entire Lamoran again. 2 nuclear bombs were dropped, and 2 large pits appeared on the edge of the desert in the sky. The violent desert wind blew from all sides, and soon the desert turned into hell. In the evening of the next day, 5 planes took off in the wind and sand. They crossed Lamoran and headed straight for Kanishan City. At the same time, several other fighters followed the desert border and headed towards the sky above Sak City. This time, in order to avoid the pursuit of Kari City's missiles, they flew very high. At night, when the cold swept from the center of the desert, the first team of fighters arrived over Kanishan City. Drop. After the crew commander gave the order, the bomber dropped a nuclear bomb. When the plane turned around and wanted to leave, there was a bang below, and the nuclear bomb seemed to fall on a piece of glass. The nuclear bomb did not explode, but was bounced away by the willful glass. Why hasn't it exploded yet? The plane turned around, and suddenly there was a loud bang, and the whole desert fell into daylight again. However, this daylight was not in Kanishan City, but in Nahili, southwest of Kanishan City. The windshield bounced the nuclear bomb directly to the Nahili area of the Akhan Kingdom controlled by the Rosa Kingdom. An explosion came, and the non-commissioned officer on the plane was dumbfounded. What's going on? How did the nuclear bomb fly there? Whose control area is that? It seems to be the Rosa Kingdom's control area. Go back and report to Lieutenant General Wilson. At the same time, another team rushed to the sky above Sac City, and they also dropped a nuclear bomb. There was also a windshield above Sac City. The nuclear bomb fell on the windshield and was quickly bounced by the curved windshield to the southeast of the Huago Special Zone. After a loud bang, a large area of the southeastern part of the Special Zone was completely destroyed. The nuclear bomb was approaching the edge of the Special Zone, and half of Teng County was turned into scorched earth. Late at night, a group of people sitting in the conference room of Future City became excited. Brother Jiang, 2 nuclear bombs, 1 bombed Luotia country, and 1 bombed the Special Zone. Now we really have helpers. As long as they stand up, defeating the United States is just around the corner. Brother Jiang, I feel that the world is about to change. The world will no longer be the world dominated by the United States. Jiang Chen breathed a sigh of relief while sitting in his office chair. Now he was sure of 2 things. First, you can't blow through the windbreak with a nuclear bomb, which means he doesn't have to worry about the safety of Future City anymore. Second, these 2 nuclear bombs were dropped on someone else's home. Now the US coalition forces are really going to perish. Inform all Sahara citizens that from today on, all Sahara citizens will return to their normal work and go to school. We will do our best to get Sahara back on track. In addition, inform all citizens that we have weapons that can resist nuclear weapons. Just now, we resisted the nuclear weapons of the invading army. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Sahara Communication immediately sent Jiang Chen's letter to the Sahara citizens to all Sahara citizens. After the text message was sent, many people cried with joy in the middle of the night. They lived in fear under this nuclear threat, and every minute and every second was like a year. Now that they finally don't have to worry about nuclear weapons, how can they not be excited? At night, shouts rang out from all over the city, and the shouts quickly gathered together. More and more people came out on the street. They shouted with their arms raised, they hugged every stranger, and they felt that at this moment, they owned the whole world. Brother Jiang, should we fight back? Looking at the crowds gathering outside the window, Guanku also wiped away tears excitedly. No more casualties. Someone will put an end to them. Okay, after dawn, everyone should get moving, resume work and production, and let Sahara regain hope. The war has been going on for almost 2 years. In the past 2 years, the GDP of the Sahara region has continued to decline, and Sahara's tourism industry has even reached a freezing point. Therefore, Sahara has no money. After the war, Sahara urgently needs a lot of money to feed the children who lost their parents in the war. They urgently need a lot of money to rebuild their homes and open up markets in various countries. After dawn, all major departments in Sahara began to notify work, various factories started production, and even the film and entertainment industry resumed work. In the early morning, Jiang Chen yawned and took out his mobile phone. He began to pay attention to the reactions of various countries in the world to the coalition's nuclear bombs missing. Clicking on the Sahara news, the news that the coalition launched a nuclear strike on China and Russia has rushed to the top of the hottest news bar. Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, at 4:45:8 p.m., the United States troops launched a nuclear bomb at our Ima Special District. According to preliminary statistics, nearly 34,000 people in the special district were killed this time. The nuclear pollution caused by the nuclear warheads is still continuing. Shangjing has sent a team of experts to the front line. We will stop the spread of nuclear pollution at the first time. At the same time, we have negotiated with the United States and the United States, and we strongly condemn this behavior. Special Zone News, the spread of nuclear pollution has been controlled. Please do not panic, people in the Special Zone. Northern News, we call on the United States to give a reasonable explanation. Our people cannot die in vain. Shangjing Morning Post, more than 30,000 people disappeared in an instant. This is a tragic news. At present, the United States and the United States have not responded to this matter. Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Rosa. So far, the latest death toll of our country stationed in Neri, Akhenaten has been counted. This unprovoked bombing by the coalition forces has killed 950 of our soldiers, including a major general. We will fight to the end for the war provoked by the United States without reason. We have launched an attack on the US military base in Akhenaten. So far, we have destroyed 3 cities of the United States and its coalition forces. In the future, we will bomb the coalition base stationed in Kalb, and we have considered using nuclear weapons to make the US mainland feel the fear of nuclear bombs. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 823. I've wanted to beat you up for a long time. China Street Journal. Why provoke the polar bear of Rosa? What is the coalition doing? Apple Daily. In response to the coalition's war against Rosa and China, the people of the United States and the coalition countries took to the streets to protest. Newsweek. The coalition will destroy the earth. Please ask the United States to come out and resolve the disputes in various places. We don't want the land in the desert, we want our lives. At this moment, all major news reports are about this matter because Rosa is likely to start the Third World War. Not every country in this world wants to fight like the United States. Everyone longs for peace. Only peace can truly allow mankind to live a good life. Until noon, the United States did not come out to make a statement, and at this moment Rosa had already sent nearly 4,000 troops to the Khanate. What's even more frightening is that Rosa launched a nuclear bomb at Kalb. Under the attack of the nuclear bomb, the city of Kalb became a ruin. The coalition headquarters in Kalb was destroyed, and the coalition commander-in-chief Wilson hurriedly led his men to retreat to the south, and the Rosa country pursued and attacked them all the way. At the same time, Omar led the Free Army from Kari City and also headed south. At noon, the President of the United States gave a speech. After the speech began, the media of hundreds of countries broadcasted on the spot. I deeply regret that the coalition forces accidentally bombed the Ima special district and the areas controlled by the Rosa country. We have ordered the coalition countries to apologize to China and compensate for the relevant losses of the special district. For the Rosa country, we call on the Rosa country to stop military operations. We should be united against the outside world and give the Sahara region that does not belong to humans. Before the foreigner from the United States finished speaking, a reporter had already broken through the security line and started beating him. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, there would have been a world war. Calm down and restrain yourself, Secretary Evan. How would you respond to the American people who have surrounded the United States? Dear Secretary Evan, countries such as Ritu are demanding the dissolution of the United States and the re-establishment of an organization that truly serves global stability. What do you think? Secretary Evan, the Australian Parliament has removed President Laura and sent her to a military court. What do you think about this? 10 minutes ago, the Fat Kim country launched a war of liberation against the Frost Tide country. A large number of Frost Tide country's troops are concentrated in the Akaran country. Will the coalition forces help the Frost Tide country resist the Fat Kim country again? Turkey has been hit by a military strike from the Rosa country. What do you think of Turkey's actions this time? Just now, Asian countries such as Myanmar, Kin, and the Philippines announced their withdrawal from the United States and joined the Xiong'ai alliance. What do you think? What do you think of Japan's announcement to withdraw from the United States and join the Xiong'ai alliance? Did you cause the current situation in the United States? Hundreds of media surrounded Evan, who was knocked to the ground. Several security guards shrugged their shoulders. They acted as if they didn't see anything. After all, they had wanted to beat him up for a long time. You can ask Bulgopu. Bulgopu will give you the answer. When Evan was blocked by a group of people, the Black Palace was also surrounded by tens of thousands of people marching. The self-defense forces surrounded the Black Palace with shields, and more people surrounded the Black Palace. They needed Bulgopu to give them an explanation. Bulgopu threatened them with the nuclear bomb of the Rosa state, and threatened their lives, so they asked Bulgopu to step down immediately. When the United States and other countries were in chaos, Italy stood up again, and announced its withdrawal from the United States, and applied to join the Desert National Alliance again. Because for some reason, the wind of Sahara blew towards Europe, and a desert appeared in Catania, Italy. With the desert, the whole town was swallowed up. Therefore, Italy needed the support of the green grass of Sahara, and they had to organize the desert to expand to the whole Italy. At noon, Bugop gave a speech. At this moment, Bugop looked depressed. Just a few hours ago, he was furious and almost shot Wilson. I'm sorry, because of Sahara's wrong guidance, our nuclear bomb missed the target. In this regard, we have communicated with Russia and China. We will withdraw all military operations in Asia and Europe, and disband the coalition. In addition, we will organize a coalition committee to compensate China and Russia. We call on the people in the country to return to their jobs. The war is over. Demonstrations cannot solve the problem. After Bugop finished his speech, Jiang Chen also randomly started a live broadcast. That's right, this dog day said he would hit you, and if he couldn't beat you, he would say it was over. What the hell do you think of us? In the Sahara region's global live broadcast room, after Jiang Chen turned on the live broadcast, hundreds of media rushed into the live broadcast room at the same time. Shangjing Morning Post, what do you think of the armistice agreement proposed by the United States? Apple Daily, Omara, leader of the Akhanic Freedom Army, said that the war will never end. This is a war of extinction. They will fight to the death. Will you order Omara to stop fighting? Frost Tide Daily, did you support the invasion of the Fat King against the Frost Tide? Great Eagle Empire, peace talks are your only way out. Will you ask for a sky-high price in the peace talks? Sahara News, hundreds of millions of Sahara people refuse to negotiate. The battle will never end. Leader, they invaded us when we were weak. Although we don't have the ability to attack them now, sooner or later we will become strong, and we will launch a counterattack sooner or later. Cactus Daily, tens of thousands of Sahara people have written in blood that the war to destroy the Akhanic kingdom has not ended. When the Sahara children grow up, it will be the end of the United States and its running dogs. Jiang Chen was silent for a long time. Until the Rosa Kingdom launched several nuclear bombs at the coalition forces stationed in the Akhanic Kingdom, the coalition forces and the United States did not try to contact him. These people have not acknowledged themselves until now, let alone compensation. I haven't received an armistice agreement from the United States, nor have I received an armistice agreement from Bugop, so we will continue to fight this war. However, from now on, I declare that all work and production in the Sahara region will resume. In the Sahara region, except for Kari City and Malacca, all other areas of the tourism industry are open. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, a group of media soon questioned it. Jiangnan Morning Post, the nuclear threat from the United States has not yet been addressed. Isn't it too early to open up the tourism industry now? Cold Wave Morning Post, you are using everyone's lives to develop the economy, which means you can't hold on anymore. Turkey, although we have temporarily withdrawn from the Khanate, we will fight back. After a group of people finished speaking, Jiang Chen smiled. I really hope you won't be chased away by the Free Army. You live next door and spend millions of dollars every day to live there. Okay, no more nonsense. Let's be honest. We have developed a super glass bulletproof net. This bulletproof net can not only block winter storms from the desert, but also block nuclear bomb attacks. The nuclear strike of the US coalition forces this time is the best example. I can say that, as long as you have money, you can throw nuclear bombs at our Sahara region at will. The more you throw, the happier I am. However, before throwing, you must ask the Russian and Chinese countries. The nuclear bombs you throw will be automatically deflected, and the direction of the flight is nothing more than these two countries. Chapter 824, All Discounts. How abnormal must such a city be to be able to withstand countless attacks from super weapons? Jiang Chen could already guess how many of the world's richest people would rush to Bayan City if he opened it. Button times. No city can withstand a nuclear bomb attack. You are bragging. Really? I ask you to send another 100 nuclear bombs to try. Button times. Sooner or later we will let you know the fear of facing death. China Street Journal. Please don't embarrass the United States anymore. We have fallen into a national economic collapse. Do you know how many jobs we have lost in this war? You are still inciting war here. What is your intention? China Street Financial News. We have invested nearly $100 billion in this damn war, and we have not gained anything so far. We have also sacrificed so many soldiers and damaged so many fighter planes. Do you want to continue fighting? Apple Daily, stop bragging. No normal person would instigate war. What we humans need is peace. If you have 100 nuclear bombs, why don't you throw them out quickly? A group of media attacked the belligerent Button Times in person, and the Button Times dared not speak out for a while. Less than 10 minutes later, the Button Times sent another message. Button Times, we have occupied the Button Times building. We declare that the Button Times is an accomplice in this war, and we will put him on trial now. Seeing that the Button Times office building was occupied by the American people who were marching, a group of people sighed. You will not survive if you do evil. Today's Sahara war will be recorded in human history. This war tells us that only peace is the inevitable trend of human development, and only peace is the common pursuit of mankind. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, many people gave thumbs up. Tung. Everyone yearns for an absolutely safe place. Sahara has withstood the attack of nuclear bombs and experienced several winter storms. There is no doubt that this will be the safest place for generations of deserts. Feng-Hui Miscellaneous, come on. I'm optimistic about the Sahara region. Please continue to maintain this development trend and manage the desert well. By then, the center of the world will shift from the ocean to the desert. We have entered the development stage. Now I declare that Sahara will welcome the arrival of every enterprise, especially those that want a future. As long as you come, we will accept you. At the same time, I declare that Sahara tourism will officially kick off from today. This spring, all scenic spots will have a 50% discount on tickets. All hotels and amusement parks will have a 20% discount. All brand clothing, perfumes and other luxury goods will have a 40% discount. As long as you come, we will definitely let you return with a full load. War will drag down the economy of a place, but Jiang Chen is not afraid. He believes that, although this war has a short-term impact on Sahara's GDP, this war also tells everyone that Sahara is absolutely safe. It is this decision that will attract countless immigrants and companies to move in. It was already evening when the live broadcast ended. Sahara, which had been busy all day, finally returned to peace. In the evening, the country of Russia started negotiations with 11 allied countries. Jiang Chen was not invited to the negotiations, nor was Omura, the leader of the Akhanate Free Army. Jiang Chen knew that, as long as he was not strong enough, he would not be taken seriously by others. 10 days later, the Rosa state and the allied forces ceased fire, and the two sides issued an armistice agreement. The armistice agreement stipulates that the allied forces withdraw from the Akhanate, and the Akhanate is taken over by the Rosa state. The allied forces compensated the Rosa state for its losses of $60 billion, and there will be no more conflicts from then on. Finally, the United States called on everyone to maintain world peace forever. Half a month later, the United States convened the United States General Assembly. The General Assembly reviewed the proposal submitted by Abraham and other countries that the Sahara region is a legitimate regime. At the General Assembly, 2/3 of the countries voted in favor, and the United States declared the Sahara region a legitimate regime. The United States invited the Sahara region to join the United States, but Jiang Chen refused, because Jiang Chen knew that the war was not over yet. Wars never start when you say you want to fight, and end when you say you don't want to fight. In April, the world returned to peace. The war stopped, but the demonstrations never stopped. The people of the allied forces continued to hold various rallies, and they refused to pay for Bugop's mistakes. They demanded the trial of the instigators of the war, led by Bugop, because they personally killed nearly 30,000 coalition soldiers, which was the highest number of casualties in the coalition's history. At the same time, the coalition launched demonstrations in various places, which brought all the coalition's production to a standstill. When they were stagnant, Jiang Chen became busy. In Sahara Future City, the Central Economic Zone, which was originally empty, suddenly attracted various large enterprises. In early April, Xianwo Shopping, the world's largest shopping brand, suffered a heavy blow in the United States. Xianwo's boss saw that the United States would not be able to return to normal in a short time, so he took the lead in leaving the United States and setting up the company in Future City. Of course, in return, Jiang Chen promised to sell Xianwo building to Womar Group at cost price. Xianwo Building, one of the most central buildings in Future City, is also the 5th tallest building in the world. Then Royal Oil, ranked 3rd in the Fortune 500, as well as Sky Eagle Oil and Fumeli Oil, also announced that they would move into the Central Economic Zone of Sahara Future City. Jiang Chen also promised these oil industry hegemons to come to Sahara. Jiang Chen promised to share the technology of Sahara oil with them, including the separation technology of the best oil at Sahara gas stations, the oil quality improvement technology of Sahara oil, etc. At the same time, Jiang Chen promised that the Malacca oil field and the Kari City oil field in the Sahara region would be jointly exploited by Royal Oil, Sky Eagle Oil and Fumeli Oil. In addition, when Jiang Chen moved into the center of the desert, all the oil fields in the desert under Jiang Chen would be allocated to them for exploitation. After introducing these oil companies, Jiang Chen established the Desert Oil Association with the oil companies of the desert countries. The Desert Oil Association will dominate the oil prices and other aspects of the new world. The Desert Oil Association will also move into the oil building of Sahara Future City. In addition to oil, Jiang Chen also took the opportunity to introduce the Barren Group, which ranks 40th in the Fortune 500. Barren Group is a world-leading medical and healthcare company. Due to the poor domestic environment, Barren Group's stocks have fallen one after another. Therefore, after careful consideration, Barren announced that it would join Sac City, the medical capital of the Sahara region. In order to attract Barren to move in, Sac City gave Barren a building for free, and Sac City will also support Barren's development in various aspects such as taxation. Of course, Barren came this time because they knew that in the future, Sac City would definitely dominate the world's medical development, especially Sahara Pharmaceutical Group, many of whose biopharmaceutical technologies are world miracles. Barren was soon relisted in the Future City stock center after moving in. After the pharmaceutical group was listed in the Future City, it quickly stopped its decline and began to work towards the top 30 in the world. Chapter 825 I have the final say here. Spring has gone, and summer has come. The protests in the United States have not been cancelled. All the coalition countries have fallen into various unrests. The president of Australia was dismissed, and the people sent him to prison. Several military bases in Turkey were destroyed by nuclear bombs from the Russian Empire. After the explosion of the nuclear bomb, the problem of nuclear pollution has always plagued Turkey. The president of the Netherlands was dismissed because of the war compensation issue. The opposition party in the United States attacked Bugop, and Bugop's approval rating dropped to a historical low. In particular, the departure of several Fortune 500 companies will make the people dissatisfied. The world is in turmoil, but Jiang Chen is not. He wants to take advantage of the unrest in the United States and other coalition forces to develop himself rapidly. Therefore, as soon as summer arrived, Jiang Chen announced that all the people of Kari City would return to Kari City, and the people of Malacca would move back to Malacca. After the migration plan began, it soon encountered a lot of resistance. First of all, many Malacca people were reluctant to leave Kari City. In their eyes, Kari City is Sahara's city, and Sahara is a symbol of safety. In addition, the greening of Malacca is once a year, while the greening of Kari City is lifelong. Therefore, they were unwilling to leave Kari City. In addition to this matter, there was another thing that gave Jiang Chen a headache. The US coalition forces in the Akhenat withdrew, and the southern government of the Akhenat announced its surrender to the Free Army. They wanted to rebuild their homes with the help of the Free Army in the Sahara region. However, the Rosa Kingdom stood up to oppose it. At the United States General Assembly, in order to stop the nuclear war, the United States promised to make the Akhenat a jurisdiction of the Rosa Kingdom. Therefore, after the war, the United States did not recognize the Free Army government internationally. They only recognized that the Rosa Kingdom had jurisdiction over the Akhenat. Therefore, the Rosa Kingdom asked Jiang Chen to dissolve the Free Army government and then exchange the land of the Akhenat for the government supported by the Rosa Kingdom. When it comes to exchanging land, Jiang Chen is definitely unwilling, because the land of the Akhenat originally belonged to the Akhenat. Why should it be handed over to you, the Rosa Kingdom? Moreover, Malacca has always been its own annex. It has spent billions of dollars to build a place. Why should I give it to you with just one word? So the negotiations continued until midsummer, and the negotiations still had no results. At this time, the Free Army controlled most of the northern and southern parts of Sahara, and the Rosa controlled the northwestern capital areas of the Akhenaten. The Rosa cut off the connection between the Free Army and the north and south. This resulted in the water transportation from Malacca not being able to reach the south. There was no water in the south, and many people lived a miserable life again. In order to open up the water channel, the Free Army and the Youth Army controlled by the Rosa fought again. At the end of summer, in order to make the Akhenaten completely quiet, Jiang Chen invited Omara, the Free Army, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Rosa, and the Akhenaten Youth Army controlled by the Rosa to hold talks together. The talks were held at the Future City Global Conference Center. When both sides arrived, it was already 9 o'clock in the morning. We must fulfill our legitimate rights and interests to the Akhenaten in accordance with the requirements of the United States. After Putati, the head of the Rosa, finished speaking, Omara shook his head and said, "We have never recognized the United States. We only know that the Akhenaten is our inherent territory. Then there is no talk, so let's fight. Let's see who can liberate whom," Putati said and deliberately glanced at Jiang Chen. The reason why Putati did not go to war with Omara was because he estimated that Jiang Chen had a black weapon. Jiang Chen didn't play hardball with the Rosa because he knew he didn't have any shady weapons. Once the Rosa knew he didn't have any shady weapons, the Sahara region would really become a colony of the Rosa. "If you want to fight, we'll fight you to the end," Omara said forcefully, and Jiang Chen knocked on the table. Omara thought he was getting cocky after defeating the coalition forces. "What are you doing here? Do you want to solve the problem peacefully?" After Jiang Chen finished speaking, Omara sat down. He didn't obey anyone but Jiang Chen. Not only him, but now 2/3 of the Akhenaten people regard Jiang Chen as a god. "I suggest that the Akhenaten be divided into half for each person. What do you think?" After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he looked at Putati. This was the best outcome Jiang Chen could think of. "I don't agree. We must have the entire Akhenaten." Putati was very determined. "Give me a favor. We each want our own regions." "Why should I give you a favor? Who was helping you when the coalition attacked you? If we hadn't helped, do you think you could have defeated the coalition?" After Putati finished speaking, Omara clenched his fist again. Jiang Chen reached out to stop him. The Sahara region must not be in chaos. Especially not now. Future City is still negotiating cooperation with several Fortune 500 companies. Before they join Future City, Sahara must not be in chaos. "Okay, Malacca is our city, so it belongs to us, okay?" Jiang Chen finished speaking, and a 30-year-old Akhenaten man stood up and said, "We must maintain the unity of the Akhenaten Empire." "Shut up. Believe it or not, I can make you disappear from the earth with just one word. You dare, including you. I have a way to resist the coalition forces, but I can't resist you. You want to arm wrestle with me? Let's go to war now." Before Putati finished speaking, Jiang Chen had already picked him up with one hand. The tall Putati never dreamed that he, who was always known for his strong physique, would be like a little chicken in front of the thin Jiang Chen. Could it be that he really owns? "Okay, Malacca belongs to you, and the south belongs to us." Jiang Chen left Putati behind. He hated people who bullied the weak the most. Dismissed. Omara, transfer the people in the south to Malacca, and from now on, cut off all economic and commercial exchanges with the Akhenaten Empire Youth Army. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, the representative of the Akhenaten Empire Youth Army was dumbfounded. "No, if we cut off business, who will supply us with water?" Jiang Chen had already left after the leader of the Akhenaten Youth Army shouted, "I'm not your father. Ask your father to supply you." There are nearly 4 million people in the southern part of the Akhenaten, and these people are mainly women, children and the elderly. Most of the young people died in the battle. If it were someone else, they would have given up these burdens long ago, but Jiang Chen didn't, because they were already made lives. When the migration began, in order to settle these people, Jiang Chen specially built a city in the southwest of Malacca. The city is at the entrance of the Budo Canyon, and Jiang Chen named it Budo City. After a month of construction, Budo City was officially completed. The new Budo City is a desert city that can accommodate 7 million people. There is not much greenery in the city, and Jiang Chen saves money to the extreme wherever he can. In addition, Jiang Chen asked people to lay pipelines to transport water from Malacca City to Budo City. The water supply in Budo City is limited, which is to prevent someone from taking it and secretly selling it to the youth army. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.